Okay, we open on a classic high school rooftop scene. You know what's about to go down. Our protagonist, Park Rosa, is about to shoot her shot. She lays it all out, a 2-year-long crush on this guy. And his reaction is, well, it's not exactly a yes. He starts with the classic sorry, but, and then delivers the final blow, who are you? Ouch. And with a quick apology, he just walks away, leaving her 2-year-long unrequited love dead on the roof. 18 years old and completely broken-hearted. She thought just telling him would be enough, but he didn't even know who she was. The humiliation is real. Just total devastation. She's so embarrassed, she literally wishes the ground would just swallow her whole. And right on cue, a freaking bomb shows up on the side of the building. Be careful what you wish for, because her prayer might just get answered. The timer is already down to 7 seconds. Suddenly, the whole rooftop starts to shake violently. The ground didn't swallow her, but the building she was on did collapse, close enough. Okay, she takes it back. Her second prayer of the day is a little more direct, please save me. As she plummets towards the ground, a new face in the crowd looks up. Someone yells Do Ryung, and he doesn't hesitate for a second, I'll go. For Rosa, time slows down. She's sure this is the end. And her last thought is about how pathetic it is to die right after getting rejected. But then her fall stops. She opens her eyes to find she's been caught by the blonde kid from the street. He sets her down gently. She stammers out a thank you, but he's just cool as a cucumber. No problem. He asks if she's hurt, and she's completely speechless. His friends call out his name, hand Do Ryung, and he's off. He runs to join some officers, leaving Rosa behind in the chaos. And just like that, 18-year-old Park Rosa had fallen in love all over again. Flash forward 2 years. We meet Se, a live streamer who also seems to be some kind of officer. Someone in her chat reminds her about her watch, and she happily shows it off. She explains it's a special watch for special police officers that she has to wear 24/7. Its purpose, to track whether or not they're using their special abilities. Apparently her grandpa, the chairman of the Special Police Corps, is pretty strict about it. The rule is simple. Because their powers are basically weapons, they can only be used on the job. And speak of the devil, her watch starts ringing. That means there's a situation. She drops an F-bomb and signs off her stream. Duty calls. Cut to the scene. A crowd of people are gathered, all looking up. Way up on the ledge of a skyscraper. Someone is standing way too close to the edge. He screams at the crowd below to stay back. It's a hostage situation. A guy in a ski mask is threatening a civilian. Down below, a police officer tries to negotiate, telling him to come down for a reduced sentence. But under her breath, she's sweating. She's waiting for backup and they're late. Just then the crowd erupts. It's Se. Se makes her grand entrance, waving to her fans like she's on a red carpet. I'll sign autographs later. Her colleague is not amused. The officer, Jangsun, rips into her for live streaming instead of being on standby. Se just brushes it off. Jangsun sighs. What about the twins, still taking their exams? Looks like it's just them for now. Jangsun asks if she sees anything. This is Special Police Officer Se, and her ability is precognition. Her eyes go wide, both of them are about to fall. What, when? Se starts counting down. 9, 8, 7. That's all Jangsun needs to hear. She's gone. Meet Special Police Officer Jangsun. Her ability is ghost speed, and she rockets up the side of the building. The criminal sees her coming and starts freaking out, yelling stay back. In his panic, he takes a step back, right off the ledge, and takes the hostage with him. Just like Se predicted, they're both plummeting, and Jangsun is racing to catch up. Jangsun knows she can't catch them both in time. We're fucked, but just as all hope seems lost, another officer lands gracefully on the ledge. He calmly holds the hostage taker in midair, while Jangsun grabs the woman. He turns to Jangsun with a charming smile. Hello, Nuna. It's Han Do Ryung, the nation's hero, his abilities, telekinesis and self-healing. Yeah, he's a little overpowered. He even offers her a hand down. She's like, I'm good, clearly mortified. The crowd below absolutely loses their minds. And of course the fans start throwing gifts at him. The fangirls mob him, screaming his name, trying to touch him for good luck before their exams. So who is this Han Du-ryung guy? In this world, some people are born with special abilities. Naturally, this led to a massive spike in superpowered criminals. These are guys that regular cops can't handle. They're known as special ability criminals. So to fight fire with fire, the government created the Special Ability Headquarters. Here, if you have even a single ability, you can train to become a special police officer. But Han Du-ryung, he was born with two powerful abilities. As an elementary schooler, he saved his entire school. In middle school, he saved the entire nation. You know, casual stuff. He is, without a doubt, the single greatest special police officer in history. He's a national hero. Crime rates literally plummeted thanks to him. On top of being crazy powerful, he's got a handsome face, a good personality, and an idol-level fan following. Which brings us back to the present, where the crowd is confused. Isn't he on vacation? Jang-sun asks why he's here. He just waves it off. I could see everything that was happening from home. Did you get permission? Yep, they love it when I work on my off days. Cut to him on the phone getting praised and offered a bonus. This guy has it all. With the situation handled, he just strolls off complaining he's hungry. Sei tells him he's #1 on the search charts again. And she is visibly jealous. Must be nice. When will it be my turn? He just gives her a polite smile. And some textbook encouragement. If you work hard, you'll achieve it. Fighting. Jang-sun has to physically restrain Sei from making a face while the cameras are on them. Then Jang-sun leans into Du-ryung. Hey, aren't you getting way too confident these days? She reminds him how nervous he used to be as a kid, barely able to control his powers. But then her tone shifts. You're still looking for your focus, right? As she says this, we see a mysterious figure watching from another rooftop. Jang-sun continues, if you keep taking things too easy, what happens when you meet a criminal stronger than you? What will you do then? And the figure on the roof is revealed. It's Park Rosa and she looks different. She pulls on a gas mask, her face hardening. And then she leaps off the building. Du-ryung just scoffs at the warning. I don't think that could ever happen though. Famous last words, buddy. But then Sei's eyes go wide. Her precognition is flaring up again. She spins around panicked. And there, right behind them, is the woman in the gas mask. Sei can't process what she's seeing. This wasn't in her vision. Rosa lunges, using Sei as a springboard to get to her real target. She sweeps his legs out from under him, sending him tumbling. Du-ryung hits the ground, utterly stunned. No one's ever done that to him before. The masked woman stands over him. And he asks the one question that started this whole thing. Who are you? Meet Han Du-ryung, the top special police officer. He's basically a superhero celebrity in this city. And this is the stranger that just showed up on his doorstep, the mysterious gas mask. Moments earlier, she tossed some poor girl aside like a rag doll, a display of incredible strength. But Du-ryung has no idea what he's actually up against, or more accurately who. He stares her down, trying to get a read on the bewildering situation. Meanwhile, speaking of SPOS, that girl with the blue hair, she's casually scaling a skyscraper, just running straight up the side of the building like it's nothing at all. She crashes through a window, offers a quick apology, and the office worker just cheers her on. Yep, normal day in this city. But back on the rooftop, Du-ryung isn't impressed. He faces the masked figure squarely. I don't know who you are, but have you prepared yourself? He starts laying down the law, 3 years minimum for harming an SPO. Then he goes for the grab, still rambling about a 30 million won fine. And she just flicks his hand away like it's a piece of lint on her sleeve. He's genuinely shocked, mid-sentence too. But before he can even process it, something catches his eye. You dare. It's a giant wooden cross, flying straight for him through the night. She catches the entire thing with one hand, barely a sweat on her brow, and then swings it like a baseball bat, a terrifying display of power. It smashes into the ground right next to him, missing by mere inches. He's got a scratch, and this is already way more than he bargained for. The cut heals instantly, but the shock, that lingers. And she's just getting started. Street signs and bus stops just rip right out of the ground. All of it hovering, a deadly arsenal waiting for her command. She smashes it all down in front of him, a deliberate warning shot. Do-ryung leaps through the debris, taking the offensive. "I've got you now." But then he stops dead in his tracks. The rooftop is empty. Smashed pavement, yes, but no gas mask. She just vanished, poof. Meanwhile, far from the chaos, Say is greeting her adoring fans on a live stream. She reassures everyone she's okay, promising to catch the criminal. Her manager is visibly unamused. A fan asks how she became a special police officer at such a young age. So Say launches into her origin story for her devoted Sabiches. Love that for her. Her ability, precognition, first showed up during a middle school exam when she was totally stumped, naturally. Suddenly, she got a vision. Could she see the future? Nope, she saw herself getting punished by the teacher. So of course, she used her vision of getting caught cheating to cheat better. The teacher was not thrilled to find out a special ability was used for academic dishonesty. So yeah, she got punished twice. Once for the cheating and once for using her powers to do it. She finishes her story, leaning casually against the wall. A voice asks if she's feeling better. It's Do-ryung. Of course it is. Her chat immediately explodes, and she just tells him to piss off. A fan asks about him, and Say explains that not everyone's an awkward late bloomer like her. Do-ryung, his powers manifested the moment he was born. Of course they did. Their senior, Jang-sun, got his during a middle school track meet. The twins apparently got theirs in preschool and were just terrifying even then. And what about our mysterious gas mask? The time when special abilities show up is different for everyone, you know. And some people are just late bloomers, discovering their powers much later in life. Our gas mask sits on a ledge, looking out over the sleeping city. She remembers Do-ryung grabbing her hood, his hand brushing her. And a gloved hand touches her own shoulder, reliving the electric moment. The mask comes off. This is Park Rosa, 20 years old, and she is absolutely blushing. He touched me. And she's been in unrequited love for 2 years straight. Let's rewind 2 years ago. An 18-year-old Park Rosa was rescued by none other than Han Do-ryung. And just like basically everyone else, she was instantly, irrevocably smitten. She finds his social media, 287 million followers, just a casual following. She's hooked, time to deep dive into the archives. She saves every picture, becoming a full-blown fangirl overnight, as you do. The top special police officer, her new all-consuming obsession. And just like that, she jumped onto the biggest bandwagon in the city. So she goes to his commendation ceremony, held outside in the pouring rain naturally. And why are they all standing in the rain? Because he looks good in a raincoat. Obviously, pure dedication. It's all for the fans, a massive sea of them in matching ponchos, screaming his name. And somewhere in that drenched, adoring crowd is Park Rosa, trying desperately to see over everyone. She's not just some random fan, okay. She has special memories with him. He saved her life. But there's one thing Rosa doesn't know about this fan club. She's surrounded by members of the PSH, Fan Cafe, a very specific kind of fan. And PSH doesn't just stand for some random letters, oh no. It stands for people saved by Han Do-ryung, every single one of them. Yeah, almost everyone here was personally saved by him. So much for being special, Rosa. But that doesn't stop her. She's got to get a glimpse of her hero. She pushes through the crowd, desperate to see the real thing just for a second. Someone taps her on the shoulder. And this absolute unit of a fanboy tells her she's blocking his view. The audacity. She's crushed. She came all this way just to be stuck behind a wall of people. But she can't give up. Not now, not when he's so close. Something inside her snaps. She too has come to meet Han Do-ryung, and she will. As thunder crashes, she shoves the guy in front of her aside with a surge of energy, and feels an electric thrill as she sends him flying through the air. Wait. Flying? Did that just happen? The entire crowd just stares at her, completely stunned. They saw it. She just used a special ability without even realizing what it was. And in that moment of pure panic, all she wants to do is run away from this mess. And then she's gone, vanished into thin air, leaving a very confused crowd. So she ran away, or teleported rather, quite the upgrade. She finds herself sitting on a park bench, completely bewildered by what just happened. She just discovered she has super strength and teleportation. Just like that. This can't be real. It has to be a dream, right? But it gets weirder. She didn't just get super strength and teleportation. She takes off her glasses and realizes she can see perfectly fine now. Congratulations, Rosa. You've hit the full superpower jackpot. Back at the ceremony, after accidentally yeeting a fan into orbit, Rosa throws on a quick disguise to avoid the angry glares of the PSH and find Doryung. However, some random guy in a gas mask attacks Doryung, screaming for him to die. Doryung yells for everyone to evacuate, but Rosa is utterly frozen in shock. She trips and falls, losing her precious rainbow wig. Turns out being near Han Doryung is a lot more dangerous than she ever thought it would be. Nevertheless, she finds another gas mask and keeps going. Park Rosa did not give up on her mission. She's learned her lesson from past failures, particularly the flying fan incident. Nothing will happen to her as long as she doesn't get hit. A car slams straight into her, a sudden jarring impact, but she stops it with one hand, completely unfazed by the force. The impact didn't hurt, but it did shred her shirt. A girl has her priorities after all. And so, 2 years later, we find ourselves back in the present. Decked out in tactical gear to protect her clothes, Rosa still has no idea something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. Her innocent attempts to get an autograph have been profoundly misinterpreted. Because right now, the special police are holding an emergency meeting, and Doryung is in it. The topic, an unidentified S-class criminal known only as the gas mask, her. Good luck, Park Rosa. You're going to need every ounce of it. Good luck, Park Rosa. You're gonna need it. Because inside the special police headquarters, an emergency meeting is already underway. No time for pleasantries. The chairman cuts right to it. From here on, we are commencing an emergency meeting regarding the unidentified S-class criminal. Chairman Choi Gilby. He's the big boss, Say's grandfather, and he is not happy. One glance at his face, and you know this isn't just serious. It's an absolute crisis. Suddenly, his gaze locks onto someone. Kim Joongi, you're here today. Kim Joongi. And the chairman doesn't mince words. One more absence and he'd be out. Joongi just clasps his hands, a hint of smugness in his posture. And he actually says, fortunately today is a draw. The chairman isn't buying it. Why weren't you at the scene when you were called for? Joongi calmly replies, I was there. Oh, but there's always a but, isn't there? He was there all right, cowering behind a tree exactly where heroes don't hide. He saw Jang-sun and Say already handling the situation. And his brilliant tactical mind concluded, no, now I can't go. His excuse, 2 versus 2, it's a perfect balance, as if that makes any sense. The chairman's face is a masterclass in disappointment as Joongi finishes. Thus, I was unable to interfere. Then naturally, the real star player showed up. Han Doryung's arrival didn't change a thing. Joongi was still glued to that tree. And then he saw her appear. The one they are all here to talk about, the gas mask. He actually admits it to the entire room. It was too scary, so I ran away. The chairman has heard enough. Get out right now. With the trash finally taken out, the chairman tries to get back to business. He reminds them what brought them to this emergency meeting. This isn't just any criminal. This is the first S-class threat to appear in 52 years. And even Han Doryung couldn't lay a finger on them, a fact that makes Doryung clench his jaw in shame. But of course, Joongi interrupts again. Wait a moment. His emergency, The beam projector was slightly off-center. You really can't make this stuff up, can you? The chairman doesn't even bother arguing. Please leave. He doesn't just say it, he points him out of the room and performs a full-on chair spin, solely to avoid looking at Jungi for another second. All right, with that monumental crisis averted, the chairman looks at the file. First order of business, a name for this new threat. Hands immediately shoot up, everyone eager to be the one to name the big new villain. The suggestions are, not great, black gas mask, no, techwear villain, still no, Terra man, seriously. How about combining them? Black mask techwear villain, still terrible and somehow even longer. Then a quiet voice from the side cuts through the nonsense. Let's go with Black Dog. The name sticks, but the chairman immediately turns to Du Ryung and the air goes cold. Please leave the room for a moment. Du Ryung is stunned. He tries to argue he was just caught off guard. But the chairman lays out the cold, hard, inescapable fact. Even so, out of all those people, they specifically went after you. And then the hammer drops. A new elite task force is being formed to handle Black Dog, and Han Du Ryung is not on it. Du Ryung snaps. The composure shatters. Please, no, I can do it. This is more than just losing a case. This is an attack on everything he is. It's a challenge to his very identity. His plea is almost a roar. I am Han Do-ryung. But his pleas fall on deaf ears. He's left alone in the hall, utterly shattered. Someone offers him a drink. Cheer up. It's Sei. And the look on her face. She is definitely not here to be a supportive coworker. She tells him to relax, go on vacation, and try to be forgotten by people. And she is absolutely savoring every single word. She leaves him to stew in his misery. And for the first time, the golden boy looks truly, utterly defeated. A truly terrifying thought begins to creep into his mind. If this person is truly after me, and I can't even beat them, who is going to save me? The hero, realizing he might actually need a hero. His mind flashes back, pulled into his childhood. He remembers feeling small, powerless, and utterly helpless. Watching a disaster he could never hope to handle. But then a figure stepped in. You all right? A mysterious, impossibly strong man, his hero, the one who changed everything. And right now, all he can think is he desperately needs that person to show up again. But his watch beeps, a harsh snap back to reality. No, he shakes his head, pushing away the weak thoughts. He pulls his jacket back on, a declaration of intent. He is not some scared kid anymore. He is Han Du Ryung, and he will prove it. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, the rain begins to pour. And in a small, cozy room, a poster of Han Du Ryung hangs proudly on the wall. It's Park Rosa's room, and she's putting the finishing touches on a fan letter to her hero. She admires her work, but then the TV catches her eye. A breaking news report flashes across the screen. Criminals with special abilities at SY Bank. See Bank, the wheels in Rosa's head start turning. Cut to the scene. A couple of low-level thugs attempting a very ill-advised heist. The smarter one tries to calm his partner. Haven't you seen the news? He's not the old Han Du Ryung anymore. They truly believe they have a chance now that the hero has shown weakness. The leader boasts about his small, spicy-ass explosive ability. His partner, bless his heart, is not convinced. He's got it all figured out, a perfect plan for a weakened hero. You just know this is going to go well. Suddenly, a chilling creak from the vault door behind them. And a voice cuts through the silence asking, who has weakened? It's Han Du Ryung. The robber instantly panics and unleashes his spicy little explosion. It barely even fizzles out right in front of Du Ryung's face. He isn't even fazed, just a calm, is that all? He slowly raises a hand. You think you can defeat me with such puny power? With a casual flick of his finger, he informs them there's no need to find an escape route, because he's already captured them. These guys bet on the absolute wrong horse. As long as he's here, they never stood a chance. And just as he finishes cleaning up, Kim Jungi arrives on the scene. He looks down at the already defeated robbers. Are you going to kill them? Du Ryung just walks past him, not even breaking stride. "I'll take care of this." He offers a curt apology, letting Jungi handle the actual arrest. The regular police arrive. And Jungi, of course, gets to play the hero, escorting the criminals he was too scared to even look at before. Du Ryung watches him take all the undeserved credit. He stands alone in the rain, lost in thought. If he shows even a hint of weakness, nobodies like these will crawl out of the woodwork. Yet those guys. So no matter what happens, he absolutely cannot appear weak. But his hardened resolve is suddenly interrupted by a sound. The other officers hear it too, a chilling realization. The distinct splash of combat boots in a puddle. Jungi turns, his voice a whisper. They are here. Black Dog, she found him, just as planned. And all that hard-won confidence drains from Du Ryung's face. He knows this is the real fight. She looks him dead in the eye, utterly ready to make her move. But inside her head, total absolute panic. He's looking this way, what do I do? While out loud she declares, right here, right now, you're mine. But while the special police are planning a full-scale manhunt, the target is having a completely different kind of crisis. She is writing a letter. Dear Officer Han Du Ryung Nim. This is not a manifesto, it is a confession. And she is delivering it right now. We cut between the memory of her trembling hand on the page and the terror of her standing before him in the rain. I am Park Rosa, the one you saved 2 years ago. So while Du Ryung stares down the most dangerous criminal in the city, inside that nightmare mask, Rosa is having a total fangirl meltdown. His eyes are on hers. She is losing her mind. And then he starts walking toward her. Inner monologue, pure panic, he is coming this way. Stay calm, this is not a dream. Meanwhile, Du Ryung's blood is turning to ice. How frightening. He forces his breath to steady. He is a hero, the crowd is watching. He clenches his fist, bracing for the fight of his life. So is she, for a completely different reason. She takes one final breath, gathering 2 years of courage, and screams at the top of her lungs, I like you. Du Ryung freezes, his eyes go wide. For 2 years, ever since that day, I have always liked you. The police, watching from the sidelines, are speechless. One of them blinks. Did you hear anything? No, the rain is just too loud. And Du Ryung, he heard absolutely nothing. He just stands there, looking completely baffled. He cups his ear and yells back, What? I cannot hear you. Of course he cannot. There is the downpour. The muffled echo from inside her thick rubber mask. The police sirens that are still wailing. And the roar of the panicked crowd. The universe is actively conspiring to make this as awkward as possible. And for Rosa, this feeling is heartbreakingly familiar. Because this is not the first time her luck has been this bad. Not by a long shot. Flashback to the first try, she bought flowers, she practiced every line. Just a normal girl, psyching herself up to talk to her crush. She spots him, he is all alone, it is the perfect chance. She decides to go for it. She shouts his name. He turns. And a random villain attack sends her flying into a brick wall. Attempt number 1, literally blown up. Another day, another try. This time she is at a fire scene, dressed for the occasion. She starts to speak, only for Du Ryung to block a literal hail of bullets. And another day. Another disaster, another citywide catastrophe. Another confession screamed into the wind, totally unheard. For 2 years, her love life has been one giant, catastrophic failure. Back in the present, she realizes shouting is useless. Time for plan B. She will just give him the letter, simple. She thinks, this time I will finally close the distance between us. From Du Ryung's perspective, an S-class monster is charging him. She reaches out, letter in hand. Suddenly, the ground erupts between them. Backup has arrived. Officer Gi Jungi uses transmutation to build a wall. Rosa does not care about the attack. She just wants her letter back. Jungi moves in to seize her. Or tries to. She phases through his grip like a ghost. In the confusion, the letter floats down and lands right on Du Ryung's chest. Mission failed successfully. Meanwhile, on a nearby rooftop, Jungi manages to slap a pair of cuffs on the masked villain. He cuffs himself to her. He has finally caught the black dog. He gets smug. Now you cannot get away. But while he is trying to call for backup, he feels a faint crack. He looks down at his special, power-dampening handcuffs. They just crumble in her hand. She did not even try. He is left staring at the dust of his career, and she just casually jogs away. Jungi is broken. He just realized he is playing a game he cannot win. Back on the street, Do Ryung picks up the letter. He realizes this is what the criminal was trying to give him. He starts to open it, wondering why a monster would write a letter. But Jungi comes flying in, screaming, "Burn that this instant." He frantically warns Do Ryung that Black Dog is no ordinary threat. Do Ryung realizes she did not kill him, because she did not even see him as a challenge. Convinced it is a trap, Jungi forces a fire-wielding criminal to torch the paper. Do Ryung objects, but Jungi is certain it is a bomb. And just like that, Rosa's confession goes up in smoke. Do Ryung stamps out the embers, but his mind is racing. He saw how easily she broke those cuffs. She could have ended him. But she did not. The question is why? Could it be that this terrifying villain just wanted to talk? The thought is so absurd it makes him physically sick. And we, the audience, finally get to read what she wrote. It was a sweet, heartfelt message. She introduced herself as the girl he rescued 2 years ago. She told him that if he had not saved her, she would have died. And she signed it, "From your fan, Park Rosa." But that is not what Do Ryung and his team see. They see burned fragments. Han-do, police, die a perfect accidental death threat. Miles away, Park Rosa takes off her mask and blushes. She is giddy, wondering if he has read her letter yet. Oh honey, no. Back at the scene, Do Ryung is devastated. His friends think it is combat shock. Later, he makes a call to the chairman. He just says 3 words, "I am going on vacation." The media explodes. Black Dog declares war on Han-do Ryung. The next headline, the hero takes a long-term leave of absence. The whole country is asking, just who is this Black Dog? And they are not the only ones asking. In a private gym, someone else is watching the footage. A new player enters the game, and he has questions. Black Dogs, who are you? While the world reels from Black Dog's debut, Han-do Ryung is doing the unthinkable. He is checking out. In a quiet living room, a girl points at the breaking news and asks her father if he sees the new criminal. The dad scoffs, Black Dog, who picks a name that edgy. Then the anchor lists the confirmed abilities, teleportation and monstrous physical strength. The color drains from the father's face instantly. His coffee cup is forgotten as his hand begins to shake. Those powers. He staggers back, nearly collapsing into his wife's arms. He hits the floor, eyes glued to the screen in pure, unfiltered horror. He isn't seeing a new villain. He is seeing a ghost. The man is vibrating with a fear he hasn't felt in decades. That person has actually come back. He isn't the only one. Across the city, the older generation is collectively losing their minds. A wave of trauma is washing over everyone old enough to remember the dark ages. An old man begins wailing in the middle of a crowded sidewalk. He screams for them to destroy it all, while his family tries to drag him away. Even Rosa, just trying to pay for her cab ride, realizes the vibe has shifted. The driver pushes her money back, his hands trembling. Keep it. What's the point of money if we're all going to die anyway? To understand this level of panic, we have to look back 52 years. There was a figure who didn't just break the law. They broke the national psyche. A nightmare that made the police feel like helpless children. A force of nature with power that defied every known limit. Appeared out of nowhere and turned the city into a playground of ruin. They left a trail of leveled buildings and broken bodies, then vanished into thin air. It was a horror so deep only the survivors truly understand the weight of it. Now that Black Dog is on the news, the elders are all whispering the same terrifying realization. The villain so legendary it became taboo to even mention their name has returned. the absolute worst criminal in human history. And that person is currently riding the local bus. Okay, the fashion is a bit aggressive, but this figure is absolutely massive. A student sitting nearby lets out a tiny, nervous cough. He receives a side-eye so sharp it could cut glass. A giant gloved hand grabs the kid's shoulder. Hey, brat. Sit. I said sit down. The kid practically falls into the seat, convinced his life is over. Turns out the giant wasn't being a bully. They were just aggressively giving up their seat. The student whispers to his friend, wondering if this is just a dedicated black dog cosplayer. His friend looks like he's seen a ghost. You idiot, check no tube. That's not a cosplayer, that's the legendary Udai. The name alone causes the older passengers to audibly gasp. In their language, Udai literally translates to, you die. Suddenly, the driver swerves hard into a sharp turn. A student loses his footing, flailing wildly for something to grab. He catches the mysterious figure's hoodie for balance. The hood falls back to reveal an elderly woman with spiky white hair and a face carved out of granite. She leans into his personal space. It is basic manners to hold the handle on a moving bus. The kids are ready to meet their maker over a bus safety violation. The boy starts bowing frantically, promising to be the best handle holder in history. Udai just snorts. Relax, what would I even gain from killing a shrimp like you? She barks at the driver to stop and stomps off the bus. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. 52 years ago, the villain who leveled cities and disappeared. Was this absolute brick house of a human being? The one, the only, Udai. Real name, Udayana, power, infinite super strength. And yes, she is 79 years young. She grumbles about that black dog kid she saw on the news last night. The most dangerous criminal in history didn't die or go to space. She just retired to a quiet life of buying groceries and judging teenagers. She reaches her apartment and beeps her way through the security door. But there is one final piece to this puzzle the public isn't ready for. She swings the door open and shouts that grandma is home, and who should come running to give her a hug? Our very own Park Rosa. Diana's terrifying face melts into pure, doting grandmother energy. To her, this sweet, clumsy girl is an angel. Someone who wouldn't hurt a fly, let alone a superhuman. Meet you, Diana, 79 years old. Legendary mass destructor and Rosa's paternal grandmother. The genetics finally make sense. While whipping up breakfast, she warns Rosa that the world is getting dangerous again. Rosa is barely listening, frantically wrestling with her shoes. Grandma screams at her to sit down and eat a real meal before leaving. But Rosa is already halfway down the hall, shouting that she's late. Diana sighs, muttering that skipping breakfast is why the girl is so tiny. She walks into Rosa's room to tidy up and finds the usual teenage disaster zone. But then her sharp eyes spot something peeking out from under the bed. A piece of gear that looks very familiar. What do we have here? She pulls out the heavy gas mask Rosa uses for her heist. She stares at it, and the realization hits her like a freight train. This is black dogs. Most grandmas would call the police. Diana just beams with pride that her girl is finally a villain. However, her mood shifts instantly when she looks at the rest of the gear. She folds the tactical suit with a practiced, lethal efficiency. Her eyes turn cold. I'm going to have to find that bastard Gilby. Meanwhile, over at the high-security special ability headquarters, the chairman is having a very serious meeting with his pet bird, Pippi. Does Pippi love Daddy? Yes, she does. This is Choi Gilby. He has no idea a legendary muscle mommy is coming to end his career. We shift gears to a high school campus. The air is buzzing with a level of hype usually reserved for pop stars. Because Han Du-ryung is walking through the front doors as a student, taking a leave of absence from saving the world to attend math class. This was the chairman's brilliant idea to fix the boy's mental health. You need to go to school, Du-ryung. Try living like a normal human being for once until you graduate. Du-ryung had taken the advice to heart, searching for some kind of peace. The chairman had been too busy watching the twins study to notice the boy's hesitation. But Do Ryung agreed he needed a change. Back in the present, he's already regretting it as a mob of students swarms him. He tries to navigate the chaos, but the camera pulls back to reveal the hallway. And you already know exactly who else is standing in this crowd. Park Rosa is frozen, staring at her crush in total disbelief. After all the near misses and failed missions, has fate finally decided to be kind? While Rosa's heart is doing backflips, a far more dangerous reunion is happening at the Special Police Headquarters. Chairman Choi Gilby is actually having a quiet moment with his pet bird, Pippi. Suddenly, the bird loses its mind and takes off, and the chairman realizes the silence is finally over, because a ghost just walked through his front door. It is the legendary criminal Yu Diana, looking like she hasn't aged a day since she broke the world. The chairman is paralyzed. It has been 52 years since they stood in the same room. He tries to act tough, telling her she looks as weak as the day she left. But you can see it in his eyes. This is a man who knows he is outclassed. Diana is not here for a trip down memory lane. She tells him to cut the crap. She has one message, and it is a warning. Stop hunting Black Dog. The chairman looks at her like she has lost her mind. So she makes it personal. Black Dog is her granddaughter, and the chairman's blood goes cold. His worst nightmare didn't die out, it just got younger. Wait, what? Meanwhile, Rosa is having a nervous breakdown of a completely different flavor. Her crush is standing 5 feet away. This is her moment. Or it would be, if Han Do Ryung wasn't currently being swallowed by a literal sea of fans. Every student in the building is trying to touch the hem of his cape. His plan to stay low profile just went up in smoke. Being the nation's sweetheart is officially a safety hazard. He tries to make a break for it before the screaming gets any louder. But the crowd is a wall of bodies, pushing and pulling at him. A heavy shove from behind sends him stumbling forward, hands outstretched. He reaches out to steady himself, and you already know where this is going. He grabs a hand, but it isn't Rosa's. It is a random guy who is now having a religious experience. Do Ryung looks like he wants to melt through the floor. The awkwardness is physical. The fans interpret this as a bold public statement, and the screaming hits a new octave. Rosa is watching her romantic lead hold hands with a stranger, and she is dying inside. She squeezes her fist so hard her knuckles turn white. She wants to jump in, but the guy looks like he is one more interaction away from a panic attack. Then the air in the room shifts. Do Ryung is scanning for an exit, looking for any way out of this trap. His eyes pass over the crowd, blurry faces and flashing phones. For one heartbeat, he locks eyes with Rosa. And that is exactly when the world explodes. The window behind her shatters into a million jagged teeth. Something screams through the air, aimed right for Do Ryung's head. The projectile craters the floor, and the screaming changes from excitement to pure terror. Training takes over. Do Ryung tackles Rosa to the ground, shielding her with his own back. This isn't a fan encounter anymore. This is an assassination attempt. He activates his watch, his voice dropping into hero mode as he calls in his ability. He catches a falling ceiling beam with his mind, holding it inches above their heads. He looks down at her. Are you okay? Can you stand? Rosa can't breathe. Her crush isn't just clothes, he is currently protecting her life. He orders her to run and starts herding the other students toward the exits. Once the area is clear, he looks at what almost killed him. It wasn't a bomb. It was a simple glass bottle thrown with enough force to break the sound barrier. There is only one person with that kind of raw, terrifying strength. Back at headquarters, Diana is showing us exactly how she did it. She just flicks her finger, and the resulting shockwave clears the entire desk. She warns him that next time, she won't be using just one finger. Gilby is bleeding, his uniform shredded, but he hasn't moved an inch. He tells her plainly that his duty is to arrest her granddaughter, regardless of the cost. Diana laughs. The old man really wants to die today. But Gilby is done talking. He starts peeling off his gloves. He tells her he isn't just stopping the girl. He is taking her down too. Diana's smile is razor sharp. She admits the little brat has finally grown some teeth. Fine, he wants a war. She slams her hand into the floor, and the entire building groans in agony. She tears a massive chunk of concrete right out of the foundation like it is a piece of paper. She lifts tons of steel and stone over her head and points toward the city. Gilby screams that people are over there, but Diana doesn't care. That is his problem, not hers. She launches it, a 3-story projectile heading for the school. Back on campus, Do Ryung is trying to save lives, but a fan is still asking for a photo. He brushes her off as nicely as possible. Autographs can wait for the apocalypse. She doesn't care about the danger. She's just happy he looked at her. Do Ryung's mind is racing a mile a minute. The glass, the speed, the calculated violence. He is convinced. Black Dog has found him and she is here to finish the job. The realization hits him like a punch to the gut. If she is attacking now, she knows exactly who he is underneath the uniform. He grits his teeth. She is toying with him and he is playing right into her hands. Damn it all. Coming back to school was the worst mistake of his life. Then his internal alarm goes off. Not a buzz, but a scream. Something is coming, something much, much bigger. He looks up and the sky is literally falling. It is a massive piece of the headquarters building, screaming through the clouds. It is too large to dodge. There is nowhere to hide. He looks at the students behind him. If he runs, they die. He plants his feet and summons every ounce of his power. Can telekinesis stop a mountain? For the first time in his life, the hero is terrified. He tells himself he can survive the impact. He can heal. He has to. But as the shadow of the concrete swallows the sun, a cold, dark thought crosses his mind. He has spent his entire life being the shield for everyone else. But when the shield is about to break, who is left to save the savior? Out of the corner of his eye, a blur of motion streaks past. It is Rosa. She is charging straight into the kill zone. She isn't running for cover. She is going to intercept it. But just as she prepares to throw the punch of a lifetime, a different shadow drops from the sky. The building-sized chunk of debris shatters into dust, stopped by a single hand. Do Ryung looks up, his face covered in white powder, staring at his rescuer. It is him, the one man Do Ryung couldn't read. The mysterious, white-haired man from the gym is standing there like he just caught a baseball. He doesn't even look winded. He looks down at the #1 hero and asks if the kid is all right. And Rosa is left standing in the dust, her big heroic moment stolen by a total stranger. Remember that explosive display of power. Not every hero starts out fully charged, you know. Take this kid, Seyoon, who could apparently hold conversations as soon as he was born, politely asking his mom for a diaper change, like a tiny, eloquent critic. His mom thought it was cute baby babble, but nope. Full, articulate sentences. The point is, just like learning to talk, special abilities need time and a whole lot of training. And in the beginning, Rosa's powers were, let's just say, unrefined. More like a toddler stumbling, except her tumbles went straight through the floor. Yeah, her powers were essentially at kindergarten level, which explains why her grand plan to confess to Do Ryung involved this. Say spots the gas mask and is immediately confused, then terrified, as an irrational person would be. She tries to warn Do Ryung, but Rosa is already making her move. Say bravely tries to intervene, grabbing her, but Rosa has only one thing to say. Please excuse me. She phases right through Say, sending her flying and clearing a path straight to her man. The truth is, Park Rosa had absolutely no idea what she was doing. She was just a girl standing in front of a boy. And Do Ryung, completely missing the romantic memo, went full hero mode. I don't know who you are, but have you prepared yourself? Spoiler, she really hadn't. She was so flustered she couldn't get a single word out. Her brain was just cycling through compliments while he was trying to arrest her. Naturally, she didn't hear a single thing he actually said. All she saw was her hero, looking impossibly cool. This was the moment her heart, shattered by that first rejection, finally began to heal. And as he touches her shoulder, he starts talking about a 30 million won fine. But all she hears is, "He touched my shoulder," and she bolts. From that day on, her life became a series of catastrophic attempts to get close to him. So, lost in her own little world, she never even realized he was technically attacking her. And you know exactly where this is going, right? And that brings us crashing back to the present. Back to the rubble and Rosa, completely frozen in place. She just can't believe it. He saved her twice now, and both times she was too starstruck to even say thank you. And while Rosa has her romantic crisis, the other students worry about the real tragedy, their exams being postponed. They see her on the ground, thinking she's just devastated about her study notes. Let's not end up like her. Oh, if only they knew the half of it. As she's sobbing about her mischance, another student points up in terror. What? A missile? Close, kid. Just grandma's idea of a gentle tap. The students scream and run for their lives as the building chunk falls. Everyone is screaming for Han Du-ryung to save them. And then a blur of motion whips past them. Rosa plants her feet, the ground buckling under the sheer force. Her eyes glow. It's her turn to be the hero. In a flash, she's over Du-ryung, shielding him as debris rains down. And he looks up at her, asking, "Are you hurt anywhere?" Rosa is just stunned. He's worried about her. Du-ryung himself is in shock. He has no idea how she just did that. Before he can process it, the other students are swarming. Han Du-ryung saved us. The public sees the hero on the ground and just assumes he did everything. He grabs Rosa's sleeve, "This way." He pulls her away from the chaos to a quiet spot on campus. He thinks to himself, he never expected to meet another powered person at school. And Rosa is just internally combusting. I'm having a conversation with Han Du-ryung. He asks her name, then suggests she apply for the special police. She gets flustered, saying she's not that good. He just smiles. And then he drops the bomb. "Why don't we speak casually to one another?" She squeaks out an okay, her brain completely fried. Then he changes the subject. He says the attack was caused by Black Dog. Rosa is confused. Black Dog? She plays dumb. Of course, she doesn't read the news about herself. He pulls out his phone to show her, so close to revealing everything. And there it is, her most flattering photo. This is Black Dog. He asks, "Scary, right?" while she's having a full-blown identity crisis. "That's me." She stammers, asking if this person is a criminal, slipping right back into formal speech. He mentions the letter, and for one glorious second, she thinks he actually read her confession. Her heart pounds, he read it. And then he says, "They said they'll kill me, crash and burn." Her brain just blue screens. That is not what she wrote at all. And then Du-ryung admits something huge. "I'm actually scared." He's worried he can't beat Black Dog. He's worried about what happens if he dies. What would you do? Should she tell him? Should she confess that she's Black Dog right here, right now? She figures it's better to clear up the misunderstanding, even if it means he'll hate her. But she doesn't want him to hate her. The struggle is very, very real. Just as she's spiraling, he notices a cut on her cheek. "Did you get that from saving me earlier?" He gets so close, thinking he's responsible. He apologizes, convinced it was his fault. And that's it, decision made, let's definitely not tell him. She touches her face. She's bleeding from a tiny piece of debris. She thinks back to getting hit by a car and being totally fine. Simple answer. That car wasn't thrown by your legendary villain grandmother. He offers her a handkerchief, a gentleman through and through. Her inner monologue is just screaming as she takes it. Then he asks how she got there so fast. He wonders if it's teleportation. She panics again. He connects it to Black Dog's speed, and Rosa jumps up, blurting out high speed. She tries to use Quicksilver as an example. He has no idea who that is. She tries Sonic and gets a hit, finally some common ground. But he's still thinking, how did you shatter that building? He theorizes you could do it with a speed boost, and she just deflates, completely losing her train of thought. He smiles, telling her it's been a long time since he's had such a comfortable conversation. She's confused. Doesn't he have tons of friends and fans? But that's exactly the problem. He can't show weakness in front of them. If the hero is afraid, what hope do the people have? But you aren't my fan, and you haven't made up a fantasy about who I am in your mind. It feels really comfortable, and I like that. Oh, the dramatic irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. She immediately decides, okay, new plan. Keep it a secret that I'm your #1 fan too. She starts to say something, maybe ask him out. She's building up the courage. And of course, her grandmother calls at the worst possible moment. The moment is broken. They awkwardly agree it was nice meeting each other. The goodbyes are clumsy and adorable. He watches her go. And then he says it with a real smile, "See you again, Rosa." And our girl just short-circuits. Her grandma appears behind her, but Rosa's not even there anymore. His voice just echoes in her head. "Rosa, Rosa." She lets out a scream of pure joy, scaring her grandma half to death. Diana yells, but Rosa is too happy to even hear her. Meanwhile, Han Durayung is at home, completely freaking out. He can't believe he just dumped all his insecurities on a girl he just met. You lunatic. He's just cringing at himself in bed. He's literally kicking himself for admitting incompetence. But still, he admits it's been a long time since he could be that honest with anyone. And he realizes he never got to properly thank Rosa. It was a day that Han Durayung would never forget. And for Rosa, of course, it was pure bliss. Though Han Durayung might look calm on the surface, deep down, he's still profoundly shaken by his brush with death. Rosa might have left, but she was still very much rattling around in his head. His head was spinning, trying to make sense of everything that had just happened. Meanwhile, Rosa is just standing there, absolutely frozen. What could she possibly say after all that? But as the adrenaline finally drains away, our hero starts spiraling into a classic case of oh no. He just laid bare his deepest, darkest fear, pouring his entire heart out to a girl he'd only just met. Cue the absolute panic of a social crisis. He is literally face-planting into his bed out of pure embarrassment. But then, right in the middle of his meltdown, a realization hits him like a lightning bolt. In all the emotional chaos, he'd forgotten the one thing that truly mattered. He never actually thanked Rosa. But wait, is that really the only thing he forgot? There's someone else who might need a quick check-in right about now. The chairman. His watch is dead silent, and that is definitely not normal. He just used telekinetic powers without permission, so why isn't S.P.O. headquarters blowing up his watch with warnings? Is the boss man just too busy to notice, or is something seriously wrong? Did something happen to the chairman during the attack? Well, let's cut to headquarters, which now looks like an actual bomb site. The place is practically vibrating, but there's no answer from anyone inside. And look who it is. The esteemed Chairman Choi Gilby, completely defeated and sprawled across the floor. His loyal pet bird, Pippi, is chirping softly on his shoulder, trying to rouse him, until the bird lets out an absolute screamer right in his ear. Gilby bolts upright, dazed, and slowly fumbles for his buzzing phone. Is it a crisis call? Nope. It's just his daily alarm reminding him to take his blood pressure pills. He sighs, thanking Pippi for the rather aggressive wake-up call, but his team looks anything but amused. The recovery squad is already on site, wondering why their boss was napping on the floor instead of taking cover. Meet one Sangbok, team leader of the damage recovery team, whose special ability is reversion. Sangbok complains he can't revert the building, because Diana quite literally threw the entire structure into oblivion. The team starts piecing it together, wondering how the legendary villain managed to escape from here. They ask the obvious question. If Diana was right here, why didn't Gilby capture her? Gilby takes a dramatic, slow sip as his mind drifts back to the explosive encounter. He remembers the exact moment Diana revealed her true identity as Black Dog. Just as they were about to clash, the alarm blared, warning him that Durayung was under fire at the school. With his star rookie in mortal danger, Gilby's legendary focus wavered for a split second. He threw a punch, but Diana easily met his strength, warning him their battle was far from over. She declared her villain moniker with absolute confidence. But in Gilby's memory, things are, shall we say, a little distorted. He remembers her surrounded by glowing, beautiful flowers. Yeah, he literally thought his 79-year-old nemesis looked absolutely stunning mid-punch. Old rivalries are weird, man. Back in the present, Gilby tries to play it ultra cool, claiming he simply held back. He boasts that his special ability is eradication and that he couldn't bear to kill her. Sure, old man, whatever helps you sleep at night. But as he gestures dramatically, he accidentally brushes his office plant without his gloves on. The plant instantly withers and dies, leaving Gilby crying out to Sangbok to fix it. Sangbok sighs, delivering the crushing news. His reversal power can't bring back something that's already dead. Gilby starts crying real tears, mourning his beloved houseplant and asking Pippi for emotional support. Pippi looks at him with absolute, unadulterated judgment. But the comedy hour is abruptly cut short by another recovery member. Gilby turns his tear-streaked face, trying to see who dares interrupt his grief. Meet Kim Shinyo, whose special ability is human cement. And she asks Gilby if he bothered to tell Du Ryung he's actually okay. Gilby's face goes completely blank as he realizes he totally forgot about his worried rookie. He quickly pulls on his white gloves, trying to hide his mortified embarrassment. He tries to act all majestic, claiming a top hero like Du Ryung would obviously know his boss is fine without a call. But Shinyo isn't buying his cool guy act for a second, practically shoving him to make the call immediately. The phone rings, and Gilby finally reassures a clearly relieved Du Ryung that he's perfectly fine. Meanwhile, the news channels are absolutely blowing up with reports of the school incident. Social media is flooded with pictures of Han Du Ryung, hailing him as a perfect, flawless hero. They are calling him Captain Korea, making edits of his heroic stance as if he did it all single-handedly. Live streamers are making entire breakdown videos, meticulously analyzing his power and his gorgeous looks. The comment section is an absolute sea of praise, declaring him unbeatable. The view counts are climbing into the millions as the entire nation hypes up their newest, greatest protector. People are fiercely defending him online, fighting off any minor criticisms like a digital army. 43 million views. The entire country is watching this play out. But not everyone is buying the media's perfect narrative. Someone is staring at the screen, a deep question etched on their face. Was this really Du Ryung's doing? Its special police officers say, scrolling through her phone, and she looks deeply, deeply suspicious. Online, she's celebrated as a beautiful, rising star of the force. She projects that perfect, idol-like aura that fans absolutely adore. She expertly plays up the cool, heroic officer role for her massive online audience. She is a natural attention seeker, and she loves every second of it. She even posts daily vlogs, giving her fans a peek behind the badge to keep them hooked. An influencer with a badge. She boasts a massive 500,000 subscribers on YouTube under her channel. Say something. But there's just one problem. She is constantly, relentlessly in the shadow of her far more famous colleague, Han Du Ryung. And if you're worried she's going to be a romantic rival for Rosa, don't worry. Because Sei's feelings toward our golden boy are a little different. She scrolls past yet another glowing post praising him as the symbol of Korea's special police. And she immediately slams her thumb down on the dislike button with absolute fury. She literally throws a tantrum on her bed, screaming about how much she absolutely hates his guts. So yeah, zero romance here, just pure unadulterated salt. The very next day at the office, she plasters on her best fake smile, asking him how he's feeling. But the second they're alone, her sweet junior act completely vanishes. The friendly facade drops and her eyes go utterly, terrifyingly cold. She leans in close, mentioning how his viral rescue video just crossed 40 million views. And then she drops the bomb. She knows it wasn't him. She points out that Du Ryung simply doesn't possess the kind of power needed to stop a giant flying building chunk like that. She demands to know who really saved him, staring him down with intense, unwavering suspicion. Du Ryung's sweat drops, desperately trying to cover for Rosa by claiming he did it himself, but Se has known him for 5 years and isn't buying it for a second. In his head, Du Ryung is actually hoping Rosa will join the police force, convinced her talents would be an absolute game changer for the country. But for now, he keeps his mouth tightly shut, sending Se into an absolute screaming fit as she demands answers. Luckily for him, their alarms start blaring simultaneously, signaling an emergency. Saved by the bell, Se points a threatening finger, warning him she'll get the truth out of him later. Du Ryung lets out a massive sigh of relief as she finally runs off to gear up. He walks down the hallway, actually whistling a happy, carefree tune as he heads out. Despite the constant danger and the looming threat of Black Dog, he feels incredibly, unexpectedly light. And he knows deep down that this newfound peace of mind is entirely thanks to Rosa. Knowing there's someone out there who can save him, someone powerful enough to carry on the fight if he ever falls. That realization alone is enough to give him the strength, the absolute courage to keep fighting. But then he realizes another tiny, crucial detail. He doesn't actually have her phone number. He smiles, deciding he'll just have to ask for it the very next time they meet. He strides confidently down the hall, now truly ready to face whatever comes his way. But as a military helicopter flies over the city, a dark shadow looms. Who is about to cross paths with our heroes next? While Du Ryung marches off with new purpose, elsewhere in the city, a different kind of storm is brewing in a high school classroom. Meet him, festering in the back of the classroom like a bad thought. His leg, a nervous blur under the desk, tells you everything you need to know about his state of mind. His name, Kim Busek, 18 years old. And that right there is the face of a guy about to make some profoundly terrible life choices. Busek, you see, absolutely hated the world. Probably because his classmates were, to put it mildly, relentlessly cruel. Their favorite, the world's dumbest joke, "Hey Busek, when you fart, does it make a boo-sick sound?" And that little taunt sends him spiraling straight into a mental dark place. Gripping his pen, he fantasizes, "If I had special abilities, I'd destroy absolutely everything." And right on cue, as his anger peaks and boils over, something truly bizarre begins to happen to his hand. At the exact moment his pent-up rage awakens his special ability, he also, and we can't stress this enough, farts loudly. So yeah, let's officially meet Kim Busek, the legend. His special ability, he quite proudly calls it farting. And that, my friends, was roughly 1 month ago. Since then, he's embraced the glamorous life of a petty criminal, and tonight, he makes his legendary debut. His master plan, a stroke of genius, begins with step 1, find a utility pole. His logic, knock it down, cause a blackout, pure chaos. And in the resulting chaos, he'll rob a convenience store, cementing his place as a true criminal mastermind. But his villain monologue is rudely interrupted by a voice of concern. "Hey, what are you doing over there?" Busek just grins, already imagining the headlines. "The special police. Call them." With a triumphant roar, he unleashes his power, disintegrating the pole's base and sending it crashing down. The old man screams in terror, but for Busek, this was truly a perfect day. Except, of course, for one tiny little problem. Someone catches the pole, mid-air, effortlessly. Busek, naturally, cannot believe his eyes. It's Black Dog, just casually sipping a juice box like she wasn't currently catching a collapsing utility pole. Now, for a bit of context, after her very emotional heart-to-heart with Du Ryung, Rosa was overcome with a tidal wave of guilt, realizing exactly how much her actions were hurting him. So she came to what she considered a brilliant, absolutely foolproof conclusion. All right, I'll save people in the guise of Black Dog. She would prove to everyone that Black Dog isn't a threat, not really. What, after all, could possibly go wrong? Which, of course, brings us right back to the present. Busek, you see, was just monumentally unlucky. His grand criminal debut, just happened to coincide with Black Dog's heroic one. Rosa helps the shaken man up, proudly announcing, "My name is Black Dog," while a fuming Busick can only point in disbelief. She tries to lecture him, but in her dramatic, utterly heroic posing, she drops the utility pole right on top of him. It's dangerous, oh sorry. Trapped under a pole, facing the country's most infamous villain, Busick does the only logical thing a rational person could do. He runs for his life. Rosa gives chase, screaming, "Stop right there, you criminal," and somehow causes even more collateral damage. The downed pole shorts out, live wires spitting dangerous sparks onto the pavement. And just like that, the entire neighborhood plunges into darkness. Busick's plan, it actually worked, sort of. He sprints through the dark alleyways, coughing, wheezing, and praying for escape. He actually thinks he's finally gotten away. Nope, she's right behind him. Rosa raises a fist, ready to deliver her unique brand of heroic justice. Criminal offenses are wrong, and with one perfectly aimed punch she knocks him out cold. Yeah, she probably hit him just a little too hard. And just as she checks on her victim, the old man from before appears, pointing in absolute horror. A murderer. Suddenly she's surrounded by witnesses, all shouting accusations. Black Dog killed someone. She flails, trying to defend herself. He's not a good person. Which she immediately follows by screaming, "I took him a good person." As everyone runs away in terror, her PR campaign not going as planned. And that's when the unmistakable thrum of a helicopter cuts through the night. A voice booms from above, amplified and menacing. "Ah, Black Dog, consider this your final warning." The special police are entering the scene. And yep, it's Do Ryung's unit. They order her to drop her weapon and surrender immediately. Rosa is completely, utterly baffled. Weapon, what am I supposed to drop? She points frantically at the unconscious body. It's not me, it's him. He's the criminal. But when she turns back, the unconscious body is just gone, vanished. Busick, it turns out, came to and made a run for it while everyone was conveniently distracted. He's gasping for air, lungs burning, complaining that he really needs to work out more. He's not scared, not really. He's absolutely furious. Furious that Black Dog stole his grand debut spotlight. He presses his hand against a grimy wall, ready to unleash his unique power once more. It wasn't Black Dog who caused the power outage. It was me. He screams, his voice echoing uselessly in the empty alley. A calm, impossibly cool voice cuts through his pathetic tantrum. "Really? Is that right?" It's Han Do Ryung looking effortlessly cool, right on cue. "You just saved me the trouble of searching." Busick freezes. The nation's greatest hero is actually here. And for one glorious, fleeting second, he thinks, am I finally going to be known as a villain? His grand dream of fame, of infamy, flashes before his very eyes. And just like that, that's the abrupt end of Busick's dream. But Do Ryung isn't even glancing at the captured criminal. His gaze is locked on Black Dog. He asks the real question, the one burning in his mind. Why are you going after a criminal? Rosa instinctively takes a step back as he slowly approaches. I have a lot of questions to ask you. He lunges, grabbing her wrist before she can even think of bolting. Don't even think of running away like last time. Not again. Oh, she's panicking now. Her heart is absolutely pounding against her ribs. From a distance, the other officers see the capture. He caught Black Dog this way. She hears their shouts, their footsteps. Time is officially up. She cannot, under any circumstances, let them find out her identity. Not yet. Not like this. In the blink of an eye, they're just gone. Sei and the squad arrive to an utterly empty street. Sei stares at the empty spot, her brow furrowed. I was sure that they were here. On a nearby rooftop, Do Ryung catches his breath. There's no use trying to teleport away Black Dog. There's a tracking device in my watch. But he trails off, his eyes widening. She didn't just rip the watch off. She simply lets go of his wrist, and with a flick, tosses the watch right back to him. He stares at her, the pieces finally, terrifyingly clicking into place. She didn't remove the tracker. She just moved him so impossibly fast it didn't matter. His paranoia, of course, immediately takes over. As expected, your goal is to finally kill me, right? She just frantically, desperately shakes her head no. She opens her mouth to speak, a word already forming, then freezes. Wait, if he hears her voice, he'll recognize her from school. But then, a brilliant idea sparks. She pats his arm to get his stunned attention, phone already in hand. And then, with no warning, shoves her phone right in his face. A flat, robotic voice begins to speak. I am not a bad person. She nods eagerly, completely oblivious to the weird pink, flowery aura now radiating off her. Du Ryung is utterly speechless. You dragged me all the way here, just so you could tell me you're not a bad person. His confusion quickly hardens into cold resolve. He's had enough of these ridiculous games. His hand moves like lightning, a blur of motion. And he reaches, definitively, for her mask. His hand is a blur, inches from the fabric. This is it, the big reveal. But the air shifts. A sound breaks the tension. They aren't alone on this roof anymore. Two figures suddenly vault over the ledge, looking like they just crawled out of a classroom. A girl with hair like a wildfire smirks. You really thought you could hide from us up here. It is officially over for you. Meet the twins. Their midterms just ended, so they finally decided to clock into their day job. Rosa can only stare. These kids are actually special police officers. There is no time to process the absurdity. There is only one move left. Run. The twins launch. The girl is already painting the sky with raw flames, but her brother casually douses the fire with a splash of water. Du Ryung is left standing there, frozen. The boy gives a polite nod as he sprints past. Good day, sir. Du Ryung, totally lost, just waves back. This is Officer Kang Mongryong, 16 years old, water manipulation, and clearly ready for his shift to end. Rosa is a blur through the city, pushing her limits to lose them. But the redhead is a predator. She is closing the gap fast. This is the sister, Kang Chun-hyung. She is 16, a fire starter, and she is having the absolute time of her life. Rosa finds herself actually impressed by the hustle. She is actually thinking about how cute her pursuer is. This is usually when you should remember you can teleport. But nope, her brain has completely glitched. Instead of a quick poof, she is leading them on a high-speed chase through the downtown core. Let's rewind 16 years. Meet baby Mongryong and baby Chun-hyung. Their parents thought naming them after a famous love story was a cute little joke. The babies, not amused. Yeah, the sibling rivalry started in the crib. By kindergarten, the fun truly began. Fire and water powers manifested on the exact same day. The problem was simple. They had zero control and even less chill. Flash forward to elementary school literature class. A girl is sitting right next to Mongryong, until she notices a slow, rhythmic leak. A puddle is forming under his chair, spreading across the floor. She does the math, but her logic is a disaster. She fills her lungs and screams to the rafters. Every single head in the room whips around at once. Teacher, Kang Mongryong peed his pants. The class erupts in chaos. Mongryong is too lazy to even argue the physics of his own water power. He just lets out a heavy, soul-crushing sigh. I guess I peed, whatever. One afternoon, the other kids spot him sitting alone while they play. They decide to actually be inclusive for once. Hey, Mongryong, you want to come play with us? For the first time in his life, he looks genuinely happy. And then he accidentally unleashes a literal tidal wave across the playground. The kids aren't playing anymore. They are fighting for their lives in his excitement. Safe to say, that did not have the intended effect. After that, the invitation stopped. He became the kid who likes being alone, mostly because nobody wanted to drown. Meanwhile, his sister Chun-hyung was dealing with the opposite extreme. A new transfer student sits by her and immediately starts whining about the temperature. The rest of the class is already fanning themselves. They know better than to complain. But the new guy won't stop. And the more he complains, the more Chun-hyung begins to simmer, until her head literally erupts into a ball of fire. Yeah, That was her last day at that particular school. Chunhyang became a social ghost. Her parents were running out of schools and patience. By middle school, their parents just shoved them into the same class and prayed they would cancel each other out. Mongryang claims they got along pretty well during those years, meaning he would make it rain on sunny days, just so he didn't have to run in gym class. And his sister's version of getting along: holding the entire class hostage until the teacher turned on the air conditioner. Sibling goals. Eventually, the parents reached their breaking point. They were done. Then, a specific advertisement caught their eye and changed everything. A recruitment drive for the Special Ability Headquarters. A place for kids with powers that are too big for the real world to handle. Finally, a community that speaks their language. A guaranteed career path to becoming a hero, just like Han Du-ryung. It was the perfect way to get them out of the house. They were going to be honorable officers of the law. Which brings us back to the present. The twins have finished their exams and they are on the clock. They are tearing up the streets looking for Black Dog, totally unaware that she vanished minutes ago. And back on that rooftop, Du-ryung is left standing in the silence. Black Dog slipped through his fingers again. The mystery remains. The next morning at school, the vibe is very different. Park Rosa is 1,000 miles away, replaying every second of that rooftop confrontation. That moment, he was so close she could feel it. She isn't scared of the memory. She is actually smiling about it. She drops her pencil, and while she's down there, she catches the local gossip. Han Du-ryung actually showed up to school today. Rosa freezes in place. He is here right now. This cannot be good. Her brain goes straight to the worst-case scenario. He knows. He figured it out. He is coming for her. There is no way this is a coincidence, right? So she takes the only logical defensive position. She hides under her desk. Her classmate just stares. Are we playing hide and seek now? Then she hears them, footsteps, and a voice saying, "Oh look, he is here." The shoes walk right past her hiding spot. Is he turning around? Then it hits her, the handkerchief. She has to return it. That is her cover story. She pops up like a spring, yells "excuse me," and slams directly into someone. A hand catches her arm to steady her. Are you okay? But that isn't Du-ryung's voice. She doesn't even look up. She just shoves the cloth at him. Here, take your handkerchief. And then she finally makes eye contact. It is him, the original crush, the guy she confessed to at the start, and she just declared her feelings to the wrong man in front of the entire class. And there he is, Nam Woo-sub, the living embodiment of her worst mistake. The blood drains from Rosa's face as the entire classroom leans in for the train wreck. Before she can snatch the cloth back, he has it. He beams at her, completely oblivious. Thank you. He adds a little heart to his voice, and now she is officially in hell. Rosa has turned to stone. Her soul just checked out of her body. Then reality hits like a brick to the face. The classroom erupts. They think it's a confession, and her stuttered excuses are just fuel for the fire. Woo-sub is soaking up the spotlight, forcing Rosa to hide behind the attendance sheet. She needs that handkerchief back now, or her life is over. She pokes him. That handkerchief. She whispers, trying to be invisible. It is not working. Her inner monologue is just one long, high-pitched scream. And he pockets it. That is government property, you idiot. She calls his name for attendance, and he chirps back like a happy puppy. He is so unbelievably pleased with himself right now. The roll call continues, while Rosa descends into a private circle of shame. He finally catches her distressed look. Excuse me. She practically begs for it back, but the guy is just blinking at her like a deer in headlights. Wait, a light bulb goes on. He finally gets the message. Nope, he thinks she wants his number. I'm so dense. Wait a moment, okay. He grabs her hand and starts writing on her skin. This is not a drill, people. He looks so proud. My number. Her own name is called for attendance, but she is busy staring at the ink staining her future. Park Rosa, is Park Rosa here? Meanwhile, back at the official patrol, Gi Jungi is briefing the rookies on Black Dog's teleportation limits. The twins look like they are about to cry. These kids are not ready for this. Ryung just stands there looking perfectly, suspiciously calm. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes catches his ear. His partner asks if he's okay, but Ryung is already in combat mode. He whips around, instinct screaming. The paranoia is still dialed to 11. Yeah, he is definitely losing his grip on reality. Joongi starts assigning routes and turns to check on his star hero, only to find the nation's pride digging through a literal trash can. Joongi is just tired at this point. Ryung tries to play it cool. He claims he's just checking the perimeter. His partner tells him to sleep it off and walks away. Alone at last, Ryung wonders if he's actually going crazy. Am I tired? There it is again, that rustling sound. He spins, ready to throw hands. As I thought, who's there? He looks up into the canopy, and it's just Rosa, floating down like a clumsy angel. Rosa, so it was you. He's stunned. She was just hiding from the other hero. He catches her and asks what's wrong. She stammers out an excuse about the handkerchief. He tries to put her at ease. Can I just get you a new one instead? But I did bring it, she whispers. Yeah, about that. The handkerchief is currently making her ex the king of the classroom. Her face says it all. Ryung, being a total gentleman, completely misses the point. He asks if she came all this way just for that. If you had contacted me, I would have looked for you in class. And there it is, the perfect opening. So, could I get your number? Her heart is doing backflips, but she plays it smooth. Why, yeah, sure. She types it in and hands his phone back. Success. And then she remembers the evidence, right on her palm. The other guy's number, in giant bold ink. Panic mode engaged. If he sees this, it's over. But Ryung is just beaming. It's a relief that I got to meet you again. He says he wanted to thank her. She thinks she's in the clear. She is wrong. Then he drops a bomb. Actually, I ran into Black Dog yesterday. He claims he wasn't scared. She asks if the misunderstanding is cleared up. I was actually about to remove their gas mask. He snaps back to the present, noticing her sudden silence. Rosa. Cleared misunderstanding my foot. He was trying to dox her. The memory clicks. That wasn't a hug on the rooftop. It was a takedown. Just then a voice breaks the tension. Hand Ryung. Rosa hides in her hoodie, instantly terrified of being spotted. It's Joongi, running over to check on his partner. Ryung turns his head for exactly 1 second. And when he turns back, she's gone, vanished. Joongi is officially concerned. What's wrong with you? You're scaring me. He tells him to check into a hospital. Ryung just waves him off. As he walks away, he tries to tell himself she's just shy. But his expression goes cold. He saw it, the first 3 digits of the number on her hand. Trust me, he definitely saw it. Later that night, Rosa is trying to decompress with some TV. It's a drama about a mother discovering her child's secret life. The dialogue is hitting way too close to home, because the screaming is coming from her grandma, Diana, who is currently counting her losses. Rosa pulls the classic tactical retreat. Grandma, I'm going to bed early. Good night. Diana is left fuming at the slammed door. She decides this conversation isn't over. Rosa, can I have a talk with you? She opens the door to an empty room. Furious, Diana punches the doorframe, shattering the wood like paper. She growls at the open window. Is this how you're gonna do your grandma now? Rosa thinks sneaking out was way too easy. Famous last words. She wanders the alleys, promising to be a better granddaughter tomorrow. Then she stops. Everything is just a mess. No matter what she does, the world finds a way to twist it. It's like she's trapped in a web. She looks up a web. There's a tiny spider dangling right in front of her face. Oh no! Suddenly, the city is filled with the sound of pure, unadulterated terror. A random passerby thinks someone is being murdered. Get off, get off. Rosa is losing it, spinning in circles like a glitchy video game character. She starts slapping her own suit. Shit, did IT go inside? Her blood-curdling scream interrupts a man just trying to eat his ice cream in peace. And he watches, terrified, as the legendary black dog has a mental breakdown over a bug. She starts slapping her own suit. Shit, did it go inside? Her blood-curdling scream interrupts a man just trying to eat his ice cream in peace. And he watches, terrified, as the legendary black dog has a mental breakdown over a bug. She finally stops twitching, opens her eyes, and freezes. Someone saw that. The recognition hits him like a truck. You. She moves in a blur, smothering his face before the name can echo down the street. Too late, the muffled words still slip past her fingers. Black dog. And right on cue, the rookie twins step out of the shadows. Chun Hyang is already grinning. You're dead now. Mongryong just sighs. I told you Black Dog would be here. She is completely cornered. 2 deadly heroes in front of her and 1 civilian behind. If she fights, her secret identity is over. If she runs, he talks. What can a cornered teenager even do here? You grab the witness. And you run. Woo-sub does not even have time to scream, as he is violently dragged into a high-speed kidnapping. The twins are left eating her dust, staring at the empty street. Their brilliant tactical backup plan, let's call an adult. She doesn't stop running until they are deep in the secluded mountains. And this absolute madman is just calmly finishing his ice cream. He looks up and says, your name, it's Park Rosa, right? She freezes, he keeps going. So your black dog, that's so awesome. She punches the tree right next to his skull to remind him she is a wanted fugitive. Then she vanishes into the night, leaving him to rot in the woods. Just kidding. She instantly zips back, pins him to the dirt, and growls, are you going to tell them? Woo-sub does not even blink, that you're a criminal. She starts desperately pleading, I'm not a bad person. He looks her dead in the eye and soft drops, I know. Wait, this was supposed to be an interrogation. He explains that he actually needs her help for a college homework assignment. The topic is modern terrorism. Rosa's jaw drops. I'm a terrorist. He just nods, completely fine with using a live terrorist to get an A. And then he mentions his major is security. The universe is actively laughing at her. Of all the people to find her out, it had to be a cop in training. But Woo-sub just shrugs. If you were actually evil, I'd be dead by now. He's got a point. She sees an exit. Do you want me to keep it a secret? He asks. Really? But of course, silence has a price. There is a condition. The very next day, in the middle of the crowded school cafeteria, Rosa has a new lunch buddy, and she is paying. The grand price of her secret identity was a single free meal. Rosa, whose bank account is currently crying, watches him inhale the food. She asks if they are even now, hoping to God this is over. But then he drops the bomb. The special ability headquarters asked me to go over, and she immediately chokes. The heroes called him in for an official witness statement. In the flashback, the investigators are leaning in, hanging on his every word. He is describing the suspicious person he saw, but he is literally just describing himself. Even the lie detector specialist, Mr. Ju Mongta, is completely lost trying to analyze the description of lion-patterned pants. By giving them a perfect description of his own outfit, he has completely poisoned their investigation. Back in the real world, he finishes his drink with a grin. So now he is officially registered as the primary victim. Rosa can barely process the irony. He asks if she's going to eat that, but her appetite is completely gone. Because he is not done making demands. There is one more thing I want to do. Cut to Woo-sub screaming for his life at 500 miles per hour. He is literally calling out to every single member of his family tree. Rosa just leaps off a skyscraper with him tucked under her arm. They rocket through the city skyline in a blur of pure kinetic energy. She sticks the landing on a rooftop, letting him drop. He collapses onto the concrete, gasping, wow, that was incredible. He is practically vibrating with adrenaline. That was so much fun, Rosa. As expected of the great black dog, she has absolutely no idea how to handle this guy. He gives her a casual thumbs up, while she just tries to get a straight answer out of him. Okay, Tilda, trust me, your secret is safe. But then his eyes drift to her face. Why are you still wearing that gas mask anyway? He has a point. If she wants to lay low, looking like a comic book villain is not helping. Rosa looks down. She explains that Han Du-ryung is obsessed with catching her. He has a massive file on her, and his sense of duty is unbreakable. He has sworn to chase her to the ends of the earth. She knows that if Black Dog just disappears, Du-ryung will never find peace. It will haunt him forever. Woo-sub rolls his eyes. The guy is just a stubborn blockhead, but Rosa instantly snaps that is his best quality. Woo-sub blinks. Wait, I thought you hated Han Du-ryung. She waves her hands wildly. The media made all that up. I don't want to kill him. He is not being stubborn. He is just incredibly moral. She starts gushing, her eyes practically turning into hearts as she talks about how he protects people. And then she just keeps going. She has completely lost control of her filter. She starts listing his high school looks, his current shoulders, his gentle smile. Woo-sub just sits there, listening to her analyze the man's vocal tone and public charisma. Finally, he cuts right through the noise. Do you actually like Han Du-ryung? She completely short-circuits, a stuttering mess of denials and red cheeks. He gently takes her hand and she begs him, please, you can't tell anyone about this either. Woo-sub lets the pieces fall into place. She is not a villain. She is just a girl trying to protect the hero who wants to arrest her. He stands up, clapping his hands. All right, fine, you're actually a good kid. I will keep my word. She is so relieved she literally grabs his leg. So you won't say a word to the investigators. She asks if he can keep quiet even if Du-ryung confronts him directly. He just laughs. And just like that, an alliance is sealed over blackmail and teenage crushes. He's her hostage and she's his personal Uber. It's a perfect system. Teamwork makes the dream work. Except we are not in the school cafeteria anymore. Woo-sub is sitting in a cold, metallic interrogation room, and he is starting to sweat, because the man sitting directly across the table is Han Du-ryung, and he is not smiling. Keep your eyes on that door, because things are about to get very loud. We open on Nam Woo-sub, acting like the protagonist of a story he is definitely not qualified for. He is a security major, he is popular, and he is absolutely convinced he is hot stuff. His mind drifts back to the moment a girl handed him a handkerchief and changed his life. He honestly thought it was a confession. Yeah, he could not have been more wrong, because that girl was actually the notorious supervillain Black Dog, and he is lucky he still has a pulse. But in his head, she is not a monster. She is just a little misunderstood, maybe even sweet. That delusion brings us here. The Special Ability Headquarters is calling, and they want answers. He stares up at the massive building, wondering if he can actually lie to the most powerful people in the country. Inside, Han Du-ryung is getting a briefing on their only living lead. His colleague says, "This is the man who came back alive after being held hostage by Black Dog." Hostage? That is certainly a generous way to put it. Du-ryung is already smelling a rat. Could this kid be an accomplice? His partner brushes it off. Never mind. Du-ryung starts connecting the dots. The university, the neighborhood, the timing. He is a freshman security major. Du-ryung is certain. Black Dog is hunting in his own backyard. Then his blood runs cold. His colleague notices the shift and asks what is wrong. Du-ryung is staring at a phone number he recognizes all too well. In the interrogation room, Woo-sub is putting on the performance of a lifetime. He is facing Officer Ju Mongta. Her ability is perfect interpretation, which is bad news for a liar. She asks him to describe Black Dog's face, and he begins to sweat through his shirt. He is panicking. He needs a cover story fast. He decides on a strategy. If the truth is A, he is going to tell them Z. First of all, they had short white hair. He just keeps digging. Crooked eyes, a jaw like a steel trap, a face only a mother could love. Huge teeth, a massive square jaw. Actually make them shark teeth. A crooked nose, almost like a snout. Even the officer looks skeptical. The resulting police sketch looks less like Park Rosa and more like a fever dream. Dark skin, he adds, but Mongto has seen enough. Her perfect interpretation is screaming at her. Every word out of his mouth is a fabrication. The agents behind the glass are baffled. Woo-sub realizes his cover is blown. Time for Plan B, full-blown emotional breakdown. I am so sorry. He slams his head on the table, sobbing that he was too terrified to remember a single detail. Mongta places a hand on his, her gaze softening. I understand. She tries to soothe him, telling him there is nothing left to fear. She says Korea is safe because of Han Du-ryung. Woo-sub wonders how she can say that with a straight face. She moves to start over, but Woo-sub is still milking the clock. He claims he is feeling faint, but a sharp, authoritative voice cuts the air. That is enough. Woo-sub looks up and his heart stops. Han Du-ryung has entered the room. I will be handling the rest of this interrogation myself. The temperature in the room just dropped 20 degrees. The games are officially over. Woo-sub is actually sweating now. No acting required. He does not feel like a witness anymore. He feels like a criminal waiting for a sentence. But even in the face of death, one thought manages to surface. Wow, this guy is incredibly handsome. Du-ryung's mind is focused on one thing, that number, the one written on Rosa's palm. He stares at the file, the puzzle pieces finally locking together. He remembers the ink on her hand. He realizes he was not the one she was giving her number to. The interrogation begins with a chilling silence. Woo-sub tries to laugh it off. The agents watching are mesmerized by the sheer tension vibrating through the glass. Du-ryung shuts him down with a glare. I am working right now. He cracks his knuckles. The polite mask is coming off. So you did not see their face. Woo-sub screams yes, before realizing his mistake. Du-ryung leans in. You were terrified, yet Black Dog let you go without a single scratch. Are you perhaps an accomplice? The observers groan. Of course he would jump to that. Woo-sub denies it with everything he has, but Du-ryung's eyes are cold. Then why, he asks, would a monster just let you walk away? Woo-sub knows one wrong word here, and he is going to jail. He decides to change his perspective. This is not a life or death questioning. This is a school project. Right now I am giving a presentation to a professor, and my topic is Black Dog. The imaginary professor asks, has Black Dog ever actually killed anyone? No, he shouts, have they stolen anything? Not a dime. In conclusion, Black Dog kidnapped me, entirely by mistake. Even his own imagination thinks he is failing this class. By mistake. The professor sees the truth. You were kidnapped because you saw their face, right? And you were freed because you promised to stay silent. The logic is bulletproof. He gives up on the presentation and blurts out that maybe they were just bored. Du-ryung is not amused. He points out the glaring hole in that theory. Only a complete psychopath would kidnap a stranger for fun and then let them go. Woo-sub is out of lies. Sorry, Rosa, he is just making things worse. Du-ryung sighs, realizing the Black Dog angle is a dead end for now. He assumes the kid was just threatened into silence, which explains the nonsensical story. He moves to end the session. Thank you for your time. We are done here, but then he sees it. Woo-sub jumps as Du-ryung dives across the table like a predator. He is pointing directly at the handkerchief, peeking out of Woo-sub's pocket. Du-ryung tries to keep his voice steady. It is a common pattern, but he has to know. Woo-sub says a girl at school gave it to him, and Du-ryung snaps. That actually belongs to me. Woo-sub is stunned. Why is the nation's greatest hero fighting him for laundry? He decides this guy is just jealous of his charm. I am a bit of a celebrity on campus, he brags. He describes the moment in class. It is pretty clear she has a crush on me, right? Du-ryung tells him she probably just thought he looked messy. Woo-sub insists he was pristine. And just like that, the high-stakes interrogation devolves into a petty argument over social cues. The agents in the back are watching their hero argue about handkerchiefs. The second-hand embarrassment is lethal. Woo-sub finally starts to doubt himself. Maybe it was not a romantic gesture. He mentioned she said she already liked someone else. Du-ryung suddenly goes very still. But then Woo-sub admits he gave her his number anyway. and the final piece falls into place. The number on the file, the number on her palm, so it was you. Meanwhile, blissfully unaware of the chaos she caused, Rosa is relaxing at home. She has finally saved Han Du-ryung's number in her contacts. She hugs her phone to her chest, smiling like a girl in love. She starts typing a message, her heart racing. But before she can hit send, a notification pops up. He messaged her first, "What are you doing?" It is followed by a cute bunny sticker. Maybe he is not so scary after all. Du-ryung is still fuming, convinced the guy who wrote his number on Rosa's hand is his new mortal rival. Meanwhile, Rosa is at home, squealing at her screen because the nation's hero just slid into her DMS. He literally asked her, "What are you doing?" It is a normal text, but to her, it is a historical document. Then he followed it up with a cute rabbit sticker. Yeah, she is officially deceased. Back at headquarters, the most stressful interrogation in history is finally wrapping up. The officers are finally done grilling their star witness, and they finally let him leave. Woo-sub stumbles out of the building looking like a soul that has been thoroughly squeezed dry. He collapses right onto the cold tile floor, total system failure. But hey, he kept his mouth shut and protected Rosa's secret. Give this man a medal. He tells himself he is going to make her buy him the most expensive meal for putting up with this hell. Meanwhile, the headquarters has turned into a total disaster zone as officers scramble in every direction. Officer Ju is lecturing Du-ryung about his extremely unprofessional behavior during the interrogation. Du-ryung looks down, totally deflated as she asks why he acted like such a hothead. He can't exactly admit he lost his mind over a handkerchief and a phone number. He just mumbles that it was for personal reasons, but she is not buying a single word of it. All he can do is apologize and take the heat like a good little soldier. He facepalms in the background, mentally kicking himself for being so obvious. Suddenly, his phone starts buzzing in his hand. He looks down and sees it. Rosa has read the message. The cute bunny sticker is just sitting there, waiting for a response. The tension is real. Officer Ju spots him staring intensely at his screen and calls him out on it. She asks him point blank if he is dating someone, sending him into an instant, visible panic. He stammers a quick denial, and she just sighs, telling him to put the phone away and focus. They walk into the main control room, where the rest of the team has gathered for the briefing. The captain asks the blue-haired twin, Mongryong, if he managed to keep his chaotic sister behind. He says yes, but the reality is a little more extreme. She is literally wrapped in massive metal chains. With the loose cannon handled, they ask the captain where the first fire is. The captain stares at the security monitors, and for the first time, he looks overwhelmed. The officers are stunned. There are multiple copycats wearing Black Dog's gas mask all over the city. These aren't clones, though. It is a full-blown riot of random thugs using her name to cause chaos. Du-ryung remembers Sei's warning, but knowing it was coming didn't make them any more prepared. Speaking of Sei, the captain realizes she is missing from the room. Cut to Sei, who is currently live-streaming her desperate run to the scene for the views. Back in the command center, the captain wonders what these Black Dog worshippers even want. The answer is simpler than politics. They are just thugs looking for an excuse to break things. Out on the streets, a masked leader is on a microphone, rawling a massive crowd of rioters. He claims society has stripped away their rights, and the mob is eating it up. He pumps his fist, declaring that Black Dog is sending them a message to fight back. She is not. He screams that they shouldn't fear Han Du-ryung, calling the nation's greatest hero a total joke. They even printed a custom flag for their new group, the Black Dog Devotees. Talk about commitment. The leader promises to follow her desires and flip off the special police. He poses dramatically, screaming into the sky, asking if their dearest Black Dog is watching. Spoiler alert, she absolutely was not watching. Instead, she is face down on her bed, having a full-blown existential crisis over her phone. She is crying tears of pure despair because Du-ryung hasn't replied yet. The overthinking is terminal. Suddenly, a giant, terrifying face looms over her bed like a sleep paralysis demon. It is just her grandmother, Diana, checking in to see why she is leaking fluids. Rosa whimpers, explaining she texted someone, and being left on read means they hate her forever. Her grandmother's eyes pop out in pure rage at this absolute disrespect toward her bloodline. Diana snatches the phone right out of Rosa's hands. She looks at the screen, veins popping on her muscular arms, completely furious on her granddaughter's behalf. And then she starts typing the most aggressive, curse-filled text message in human history. Rosa panics and lunges forward, screaming at her grandmother to stop before she ends her social life. The two of them start wrestling over the phone in the middle of the room. It is a struggle for survival. Meanwhile, back on the streets, the rioters are actively tearing the city apart for the cause. They have set a fire right in front of a local pizza shop, and the owner is begging them for mercy. The rioters' main grievance: the owner dares to serve pineapple on pizza. Finally, a relatable motive. They throw a slice on the ground, completely ignoring the owner's passionate defense of warm fruit. But their reign of terror is cut short when a familiar shadow appears behind them. The rioter turns around, completely confused as the temperature drops. It is Manhwa, and he looks incredibly dark and menacing. As it turns out, this specific pizza parlor happens to be his absolute favorite restaurant. Like he eats here almost every single day. It is his safe space. And these punks just ruined his dinner plans. The rioters ask if he is a cop, but they think he is the weak twin they don't need to fear. They laugh, telling each other not to worry, right as Manhwa raises his hand. With a blank expression, he unleashes a massive torrent of water, blasting the rioters backwards. The leader is swept away by the sudden tidal wave. Welcome to the deep end. Manhwa casually guides the water, sending them flying around the corner like trash. The thugs are completely helpless, screaming that they are getting motion sickness from the vortex. They look up in terror as something shiny flies through the air towards them. It is a pair of handcuffs, spinning perfectly through the sky. The cuffs snap onto their wrists with perfect, satisfying precision. That is a pro at work. They slide across the pavement, completely defeated and tied up. They look up, and their jaws hit the floor. Ryung is levitating dozens of rioters like it is nothing. But he isn't even looking at them. He is glued to his phone, trying to figure out how to reply to Rosa. He casually asks one of the arrested rioters if he is busy right now. Seriously. The handcuffed thug is incredibly confused, but he shakes his head no. He is a captive audience. Ryung asks him what a good reply is to a message asking what he is doing. The rioter points out that he is currently working, so he should probably just say that. But Ryung worries that saying he is working will just kill the conversation instantly. Relatable. Another rioter chimes in. The girl used a cute emoji, so he has to keep the momentum going. The thugs are literally giving the nation's greatest hero dating advice while in custody. They suggest he ask her to meet up after he finishes work, sending Ryung into a silent panic. He stammers that she is just a friend, but the rioters scoff. You don't overthink this for a friend. He tries to defend himself, but the criminals are totally running the show now. They use Officer Kai Jungi as an example of a normal coworker who would just say working and move on. Ryung finally relents, asking if he should really send the invite. It is a big step. Meanwhile, the recovery team leader is fixing a wall, completely annoyed that the kid is flirting on the clock. The rumor of Ryung dating spreads through the precinct like wildfire. The text finally goes through, I am working now. Do you want to meet me after work? Rosa's eyes go wide as she screams. He actually replied. Her grandmother pops her head in to check the status, but Rosa frantically slams her face into the bed. She screams into her pillow, realizing she has no idea how to handle a real date invitation. She needs to ask someone who actually knows how to handle social situations. A professional. Cut to Woosub, who is walking home through the destroyed streets, looking completely dead inside. He sighs, looking at the massive mess left behind by the rioters. Just another day in the city. Suddenly, his phone buzzes and he sees a message from Rosa. This cannot be good. The text is simple and desperate. Woosub, help me. He blinks, wondering what kind of trouble she managed to get into in the last 10 minutes. He looks up and his heart stops. Black Dog's gas mask is sticking out of the cracked asphalt. Woosub gasps, covering his mouth in pure horror as the realization hits. He screams her name, completely terrified of whatever insane situation she has stumbled into now. Woosub gets a text from Rosa begging for help that makes his blood run cold. He stares at the screen, every possible disaster scenario playing on loop. Then his eyes drop to the pavement and his stomach does a backflip. He clamps his hand over his mouth, barely holding back a primal scream. How is she texting him if her signature mask is embedded in the asphalt? Did she actually get flattened into the road? One word, pancakes. He slowly approaches the dark, lifeless hood sticking out of the concrete. Wait, this isn't Rosa. It is just a random copycat who got face planted by the police. The poor guy is just sitting in the crater, absolutely fuming at his life choices. Honestly, the weather today is way too nice for this level of nonsense. Woosub leans over him, totally weirded out. Are you all right? The guy just blinks, completely confused by this random kid's concern. Woosub clutches his head. All that panic and it is just a stranger. Seriously, how do you manage to get paved into a main road like a traffic cone? The guy squints up at Woosub, thinking he has found a brother in arms. He asks the golden question, are you also a devotee? Woosub's brain completely short-circuits. A what now? Since the word for devotee sounds exactly like single, Woosub just shrugs and says, well, yeah, I am single for now. But then Woosub leans in. That voice sounds way too old for a teenager. He yanks the mask off and oh lord, it is a middle-aged man with a terrible mustache. Woosub tosses the mask in pure disgust. Yep, definitely got the wrong person. He checks his phone again, realizing Rosa was actually panicking about her date with Du Ryung. The middle-aged fanboy screams after him, calling him a traitor to the cause. He is literally crying about how devotees will rule the world. Talk about dedication. Suddenly, a massive boom echoes in the distance as the sky lights up. Woosub ignores the chaos and texts back. If Han Du Ryung asked you out, you have to go. But Rosa is already spiraling, overthinking every single detail. She spams him with pure panic. What if I am a burden? Is it really okay? Woosub decides it is time for some tough love. Stop texting and just go. Rosa sends a sad little bunny sticker and agrees to finally move. Right then, another massive crash shakes the pavement right beside Woosub. A naked guy running with sparklers goes sprinting past. Okay, this city is officially losing it. Woosub calls Rosa back. Rosa, there are some seriously weird people pretending to be you out here. She picks up, sounding completely lost in her own head. Woosub points his phone camera toward the street. Just look at this. A bunch of crazy copycats are literally worshipping a bonfire in her name. Woosub points out the obvious. If the city is this chaotic, Du Ryung is going to be stuck working overtime. Rosa whispers at 7. Woosub drops the truth bomb. Yeah, with these idiots running wild, not gonna happen. Rosa freezes, her perfect date ruined by her own fake fan club. Her brain immediately starts plotting a solution. Step 1. Go out there and personally beat the daylight out of every fake black dog. Step 2. Politely greet the special police to show she is a model citizen. Step 3. Clear the misunderstanding and have the most romantic evening ever at 7 o'clock. But then reality hits her like a cold shower. She slumps against the wall, looking completely blank. Why is life so difficult? No, she is not giving up. She screams into the phone and hangs up, ready for battle. Meanwhile, back on the streets, the ridiculous riot the copycats try to start is already being effortlessly shut down by the actual pros. Sei is right in the middle of it, cheerfully live-streaming the arrests to her fans. Suddenly, someone bumps right into her shoulder. Her phone goes flying through the air in slow motion. Oh no, not the stream. The screen smashes flat against the asphalt, completely shattered. Sei stands there, her soul leaving her body. Her precious phone is dead. And the culprit? Meet Devotee Triceps, whose special ability is being incredibly annoying. He towers over her, boasting that she is just a weak girl with no combat powers. Sei's eyes go dark. Big mistake, buddy, huge. She turns around, exuding pure boss energy. Don't look down on me just because I'm in high school. She slowly adjusts her gloves, ready to show him what S.P.O. training actually looks like. Physical conditioning is no joke, and she is about to give him a live demonstration. Her gaze sharpens. Come at me. The guy charges, completely confident in his ridiculous shoulder-bumping prowess. It is time for Sei's secret technique, Volume 1. She starts dodging with insane speed, leaving afterimages everywhere. The massive guy is left completely out of breath, unable to touch her once. And now, Volume 2 is about to drop. She starts landing rapid fire, irritatingly quick punches right to his face. She finishes it off with a brutal sweep that sends him flying into the air. The giant crashes down, and her junior colleague is practically sparkling with admiration. Sei immediately switches back to influencer mode. Take a picture of me right now. The junior literally lies flat on the road to get the perfect aesthetic low-angle shot. But suddenly, a static shock of pure danger hits Sei's precognition. She turns around, her face completely pale. Something big is coming. She whispers, "Black dog is coming, the real one." She looks toward the horizon, and her eyes widen in pure disbelief. Wait, is that a monster? Civilians nearby start screaming and running for their lives. Down the street, the real black dog is sprinting like her life depends on it. But she isn't attacking anyone. She's running away from a gigantic, blushing pink octopus monster. The arrested devotees watch in absolute awe, thinking their savior has arrived. They believe this beast is the devotee's ultimate hidden weapon. Behold the legendary park weapon, which transforms into whatever it ate the day before. The devotees cheer, convinced Black Dog brought the monster to bust them out. In reality, Rosa is absolutely terrified, screaming at the creature to stop chasing her. And you won't believe why it is following her. The giant octopus is just incredibly happy to play fetch with her real gas mask. How is she supposed to make her date now? Wait, stop. We need to back up for a second to figure out how this disaster even started. A group of losers who hate Han Du-ryung formed a cult worshipping Black Dog, and now the city is burning. So our girl Rosa decides she is going to infiltrate these fake devotees to clear her reputation. She gears up, ready to show these posers how a real villain gets things done. Time to get to work. She steps out looking like an absolute menace. But remember, this is Rosa we are talking about. Down in the city, a civilian is screaming for her life. Two rookie officers stand frozen as a pair of masked thugs corner them. And the terrifying hostage, a laptop containing her college graduation project. The thugs are laughing in her face, completely enjoying the leverage of a 4-year degree. Suddenly, Rosa dashes in like a shadow across the pavement. She snatches both of them by their necks in one smooth, terrifying motion. She flips them through the air and somehow kicks the laptop back to its owner mid-flight. Then, she literally hurls the two criminals directly at the rookie officers. The rookies panic as two grown men come flying at their heads like human missiles. Luckily, Senior Officer Gi Jungi steps in just in time. Using his transmutation ability, Jungi turns the concrete into soft gel to cushion the impact. The rookies are practically crying with gratitude, hugging each other in relief. But when Jungi looks up, the mysterious vigilante is already long gone. Wait, something clicks in his head as he stares at the ground. He counts 1 officer, 2 rookies, and 3 captured devotees. The math is wrong. Suddenly, Jungi starts muttering that he has to leave the scene immediately. He claims he cannot handle the asymmetrical imbalance of these numbers for another second. He offers a quick apology to his completely dumbfounded juniors. And this absolute madman just books it down the street to escape the bad layout. The rookies scream that they are telling the chairman about his weird obsession. Meanwhile, Rosa is darting through the alleys, hunting for more copycat thugs. She is actually feeling pretty proud of herself, thinking she is a model citizen. She spots another devotee cornering someone in a dark corner. The thug turns around, utterly shocked to see his idol standing right behind him. But Rosa does not give autographs. She sends him flying into the sky with a devastating, bone-crunching kick. The poor guy crashes directly onto a police car parked down the block. The officers run over, wondering if this random devotee named Hand Demon is even alive. But then, Demon's body begins to twitch and crack ominously. See, this guy has a very specific, very annoying special ability. His power lets him absorb the strength of any kinetic impact and convert it into pure muscle. He bulks up instantly, laughing that he has never felt this much raw power. He actually thanks Black Dog for giving him such an insane power boost. And the nearby cops can only scream as this giant prepares to crush them. Totally oblivious to the monster she just created, Rosa wipes her brow, feeling accomplished. But then, the ground beneath her boots begins to tremble violently. Pavement cracks open, and debris starts raining down from the surrounding buildings. Heavy, booming footsteps echo from around the corner. Something big is coming. Rosa slowly turns around with a sinking feeling in her chest. It is Park Weapon, the giant pink octopus monster, waving its massive tentacles with joy. It cheerfully greets its favorite person in the whole wide world. Rosa's face completely drains of color under her hood. This takes her right back to her childhood, where her grandmother tried to force-feed her live seafood. Yu Dai was yelling at her to stop being a baby because it was healthy, but staring at those wriggling tentacles was the most traumatizing experience of her life. Yeah, those childhood scars run deep. Rosa lets out a blood-curdling shriek of pure, unadulterated terror, because despite her godlike powers, our fearsome black dog is deathly afraid of octopuses. She bolts in the opposite direction, while the giant creature happily slithers after her like a puppy. And that brings us right back to the present chaos. Nearby, a couple of recovery team officers think they are having a collective hallucination. The legendary villain is sprinting down the main highway at breakneck speeds. A spectator watches in absolute shock, trying to process what she is seeing. Behind the villain is a towering, pink, multi-tentacled beast tearing up the street. The recovery team officers, One Sangbok and Kim Shinyo, start running for their lives. But in his panic, team leader One completely trips over his own feet. He faceplants hard onto the stone pavement, completely helpless. Shinyo turns around, yelling dramatically that she will not let him die today. She leaps back and throws her arms around him as the giant octopus shadow looms over. But to their surprise, the beast just swooshes right past them. One sits up, deeply embarrassed by how easily they both just accepted their doom. He looks at his loyal colleague, feeling a sudden surge of warmth. Standing tall, he delivers a speech about how hard they work in the damage recovery department. And then he asks her out for drinks once they finally clean up this massive mess. Shinyo just blushes and smiles, happily accepting his invitation. Look at these two, planning a pork belly date while a kaiju-sized octopus levels the city. Back on the street, voices are calling out to Black Dog. Rosa looks up, hoping for a miracle to save her from this nightmare. But instead, she sees a massive crowd of handcuffed devotees standing right in her path. If she keeps running, the giant octopus is going to crush every single one of them. Even though they are technically criminals, Rosa's heroic heart won't let them die. She stops on a dime, planting her feet into the asphalt with a fierce glare. Mustering every ounce of courage, she turns around and screams at the beast to stop. With a massive shockwave, she strikes the concrete directly in front of the creature. The impact is so intense, it literally shatters the fake gas mask on the octopus's face. The captured devotees can only watch in absolute awe at her incredible raw strength. They are completely convinced their savior has come to rescue them. The shockwave actually reaches One and Shinyo, who are still trying to repair the nearby street. Suddenly, a massive shadow blocks out the sun above them. One looks up and spots a giant pink mass flying straight toward them. He weakly calls out to Shinyo as the giant creature descends. Yeah, it looks like that pork belly date is going to have to wait. But just as the octopus is about to crush them, a brilliant flash of blue light streaks through the air. The two officers scream as a figure swoops in to intercept the falling monster. It is him. The nation's greatest hero has finally arrived on the scene. With his telekinesis, Han Durayung slams the giant octopus harmlessly into an empty alley. Rosa freezes, her heart stopping as she hears the crowd cheering his name. She knows exactly how bad this is. Durayung looks down at her with an intense, deadly serious expression. And Rosa realizes she has never seen him look this angry before. Either way, our girl is in for the fight of her life. The dust settles, but the city has a new name for its most wanted, and a new target for its fury. But that confrontation we were waiting for, it's happening right now. Just not for everyone. While the hero finally faces the villain, the cleanup crew is scrambling after Park Weapon's messy little tantrum. But Durayung isn't watching the chaos. He's got eyes only for Black Dog. With a sudden, brutal gesture, he slams the giant octopus into the pavement. And the look on his face is pure, unfiltered rage. Rosa clocks it immediately. She has a date with this guy in 30 minutes, and right now, he looks like he wants to kill her. Meanwhile below, Team Leader 1 is having a full-blown meltdown. Han Durayung, you fucking bastard. The man is absolutely losing it. They just fixed the road Durayung broke, and Durayung doesn't even notice. Because he has a much bigger problem. He's supposed to meet Rosa at 7, and this whole superhero thing is making him late. So hovering above the chaos, facing the city's most wanted criminal, he holds up a hand. Sorry, wait. The devotees are stunned. Is he really on his phone right now? Does his confidence know no bounds? But then one of them points, no, look over there. Because Black Dog is also on her phone. The mutual disrespect is legendary. The devotees are losing their minds. Black Dog is fucking cool. And in the middle of a superhero standoff, they reschedule their date. Then 8, okay, see you later. Phones away, stare down back on. Let's get back to the attempted murder. Durayung looks down at the criminal he just texted. Thank you for waiting, Black Dog. The devotees are confused. They couldn't hear him from down there. Durayung remembers his audience and pulls out a megaphone. Thank you for waiting, Black Dog. Let's just pretend we're curious about where that spawned from. You're brave to have come this far to save your allies. Rosa is confused. Allies who? Durayung continues, his voice ice cold. I will make you regret. For not killing me that day. With a gesture, the very ground beneath her begins to crack and give way. Team Leader 1 can only watch in horror as even more property damage begins. Durayung calls for backup, Jungi Hayoung. Hold Black Dog down. He flings a road sign at her, trying to pin her in place. But Jungi has a better idea. As she stumbles, he grins. I bet you can't move the entire city. He sinks her into the asphalt itself. Another officer tries to bring handcuffs, but Jungi waves him off. They don't need them. Another colleague comforts the rookie. It's not him. Jungi is just like that with everyone. Rosa is in serious trouble. She's sinking into concrete, and more importantly, she has plans later. She has to get out of here, fast. She leaps away, but the ground seems to swirl around her. Durayung isn't letting her go. He raises a hand, deciding that at least a little pain is necessary, and slams not just Rosa, but his own teammate Gi Jungi into the ground with his telekinesis. Jungi is shocked, but Durayung just snaps back, who are you worrying for right now? He roars that they won't die anyway, and he's not wrong. But Rosa is panicking. She can't get caught, not before her date, but he's not giving her an inch to escape. Turns out, she didn't need to worry about an escape plan, because a distraction just slithered up behind Durayung. It's Park Weapon, and it looks pissed. Miles away, Sei is sprinting towards the scene. Her precognition showed her something terrible. She screams that Durayung might be in grave danger. Another officer struggles to keep up with her insane speed. He asks if they can just take the car. Her answer, no, I don't have a license. Back at the fight, Durayung feels something grab him. Oh, crap. Park Weapon got up, and it is not happy. Its tiny little devotee mask cheers it on. The octopus monster thinks, "How dare you?" And it wraps its tentacles around Du Ryung, lifting him into the air. "I won't forgive you, Han Doryung." This monster is literally fighting him for Black Dog's affection. Du Ryung is just confused. Is this another special ability user? He dismisses it, big but not much else. With a casual gesture, he prepares to blast it away again. But that's not what Rosa sees. Through the eyes of her massive crush, she sees her beloved Du Ryung captured by a vile monster, screaming for help. She has to save him. She lifts a massive chunk of rock, ready to play the hero, and hurls it right at her unintended target, Gi Jungi. The poor guy just thinks, there's a good chance that I'll get a concussion. But just before impact, a figure flashes in and tackles him out of the way. It's Sei. She caught him. She asks if he's all right, a blush on her face. A perfect, heroic rescue. But Jungi isn't looking at her. He's looking at her hair. He points out that one of her pigtails is messy. "Can't you retie it? Its messiness is bothering me." She just saved his life, and this is the thanks she gets. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, Rosa realizes she missed her shot. So she takes matters into her own hands, launching herself directly at the octopus. She screams, "Get your hands off him." Her flying kick connects, right with Park Weapon's tiny gas mask, shattering it, and the octopus freezes. It sees its beloved Black Dog, and immediately excitedly drops Du Ryung. Okay. Rosa grabs Du Ryung to save him, but he just stares at her, completely bewildered. She uses the momentum to leap away, landing gracefully on a nearby rooftop. But in the chaos of the landing, her hood falls back. Her face is exposed. And Sei, standing on the street below, gets a crystal clear view. She can only watch in shock. It's Rosa. Du Ryung is just impressed. Wow, as expected from Black Dog. But Rosa is internally screaming. That was not the plan. She turns back to check on him, trying to play it cool. "Hey, are you Oka?" And her hand slips, catching on his uniform. He stares confused. And with a loud rip, she tears his shirt right open, exposing his abs to the world. From the ground, Sei screams, "Just kill him instead." The second-hand embarrassment is just too much. Rosa is mortified and tries to flee. Du Ryung just stands there, shirtless, as she scrambles for something to cover him with. His expression is unreadable. And what does she find? A propaganda flyer for herself. She offers it to him. He lets out a single, dry laugh. He looks at this chaotic disaster of a villain. "Even though I've met a lot of criminals, you're the worst one yet." Rosa just freezes. Her crush just called her the worst. All she can do is whisper, "I'm sorry." Du Ryung is caught completely off guard by the apology. And in that moment of hesitation, Black Dog vanishes. Night falls over the city. The news reports on the aftermath, with Special Ability Headquarters already scrambling to repair the damage. Rosa trudges home, utterly defeated. Her grandma is waiting. "You're back." Grandma takes a deep breath, ready to confront her. Honestly, Grandma had known. But then she sees Rosa's face streaked with tears, and the confrontation dies. "Ego, my dear child, what happened?" So, to recap the absolute mess from last chapter, the police were just about to wrap up the copycat terrorists when their supposed leader, Black Dog, crashes the party and throws everything into chaos. Amidst the pandemonium, a few of the rioters managed to slip away. When the dust settled, Han Du Ryung was left dumbfounded, and Park Rosa absolutely devastated. But while our main characters are having the worst night of their lives, elsewhere in the city, two people are absolutely thriving. That's right, Damage Recovery Team Leader 1 and Kim Shinyo are on their post-near-death experience date. Shinyo notes it's been a while since they went out without the chairman. And they have a good laugh at the S.P.O.'s expense. Ego, poor things, tilde it's a bad day for them. She wonders aloud, "I wonder if Du Ryung was able to make it in time. For what, you know? For the date." Speaking of which, Du Ryung is sitting alone, staring at his phone. He's reliving the texts from just a few hours ago. She'd asked then 8 p.m. And he'd agreed, okay, see you later. But now it's past 9, and he's only just now texting her, sorry, I just got off work. He sends the follow-up, full of desperate hope. Is it okay if we still meet? He sighs, the crushing weight of the night finally catching up to him. Meanwhile, Rosa is having a complete and total breakdown in her grandmother's arms. Grandma comforts her, listening to the full, tearful story. And then Grandma asks, already fed up, all of that happened because you were following that bastard. She tells her to stop crying. Grandma says, I'm okay with the fact that you're black dog. Rosa looks up, surprised, really? But she roars, you are crying over a special police officer. Don't you have some pride? Rosa whimpers, but he's so cool. Grandma is not having it. Cool my ass, he looks like a weakling. She beats her chest in frustration. I raised you like a princess, and you're chasing a cop. She asks the critical question, does that bastard like you too? Rosa's sad little headshake says it all. Grandma sighs, why did you also inherit that from me? Rosa is stunned. You've also experienced one-sided love. Her grandma just looks away, the answer a simple yes. It was when I was at your age. And then the scene changes, right to someone who knows exactly how she feels. Back at the barbecue restaurant, the vibe has been completely ruined. Because Chairman Choi Gilby has just crashed their private dinner. Why would our boss join us? How did he find them? The tracking watch, of course. Team Leader 1 is not happy. And the chairman didn't come alone. He brought Sadsak Durayang with him. Ah, he really looks sad, so I brought him too. The chairman laughs, you know. Today is Han Durayang's worst day ever. Durayang just glares. Him being in low spirits looked cute. The chairman is just twisting the knife at this point. Team Leader 1 decides to get right to it. Durayang, why are you here? Where is your girlfriend? The chairman is floored. What? A girlfriend? Durayang just takes a sip, deadpan. She isn't my girlfriend. And then he drops the bomb. No one would ever want to date me. The entire table collectively loses their minds. Why? You're this handsome. As they baby him, Kim Shinyo pours him a full glass. She declares, this is our opportunity to get him drunk. And so the drinking begins. Cheers. Many, many bottles of soju later. Everyone else is flushed and drunk, but Durayang looks perfectly fine. He slams his glass down. Why can't I get drunk? Turns out his self-healing ability purges alcohol instantly. Tough break. The team just shrugs. He isn't drunk, but he's gone mad. The now hammered chairman slurs, what are you so annoyed about? Just because you lost once. Durayang looks away. A special police officer is nothing. I can't even keep one promise. This must be why I don't have friends. The chairman tries to cheer him up, listing his S.P.O. friends, but that's not what Durayang means. I finally befriended a civilian, but it looks like she isn't fond of me anymore after seeing me get defeated by Black Dog. I can't even contact her. He finally lets his frustration out. How can someone expect me to win all the time? Can't I lose once? The chairman just pats his shoulder. It looks like puberty hit you late. He thinks it's hilarious, reminiscing about how serious Durayang was as a kid. He pats his head and says, love isn't all that. But Durayang snaps back, this isn't about love. This just gets the rest of the team going, bringing up the chairman's own first love. Even 10 years ago when you got drunk you were calling for, what was it? Anna. He denies it, of course, but the damage is done. Durayang is quiet. Shinyo connects the dots, so that's why the chairman isn't married yet. But that person, is she even alive? The question hangs heavy in the air, silencing everyone. The chairman looks down, a sad smile on his face. Well, I did think she was dead. But she's alive. The table breathes a sigh of relief. But he adds she has a granddaughter. The unspoken truth hits them, so she got married. He's tearing up. Of course she did. It took place over 50 years ago. He clasps his hands. No, I was just so happy to see her again. And who does he see in his mind's eye? Our favorite tough-as-nails grandma. Shinyo asks, you must have really liked her. What kind of person was she? The chairman looks off into the distance. She was really strong. Durayang pauses, listening. That strength that seemed unmatched. And those innocent eyes. I really like that about her. Wait, who is he describing, Grandma or Rosa? He continues, lost in memory. I used to mistake my feelings as a form of respect towards her strength. But strangely, I couldn't stop thinking about her. She had a bright smile. And we see a flashback of young Grandma looking more like a thug than an angel. And suddenly, Do Ryung is paying very close attention. The chairman talks about getting nervous, and Do Ryung remembers being nervous with Rosa. He talks about getting jealous, and Do Ryung remembers his own jealousy. It's all starting to sound familiar. He tries to play it cool, but the chairman's story is hitting way too close to home. I missed her so much that during those days I couldn't see her. And Do Ryung thinks I miss her. The whole table stares as he says it out loud. He claps a hand over his mouth, completely mortified and blushing furiously. He misses her. And yeah, he definitely just said that out loud. The entire table goes dead silent as Korea's finest hero melts into a puddle of pure embarrassment. Then the vultures strike. Who? His colleagues are smelling blood in the water. Who could you possibly miss this much? I thought you said this wasn't about love. They are absolutely roasting him, telling him he's old enough to be married while he struggles to even breathe, let alone defend himself. The chairman finally steps in as the voice of reason. Stop teasing him. Look at the boy, he is suffering. He suggests a walk for fresh air, but don't let that concerned face fool you. He is just as nosy as the rest of them. He drags Do Ryung outside, leaving the others behind. The second they are alone, he drops the act. So, what is she like? The two of them walk through the heavy silence of the night streets. Do Ryung immediately tries to backtrack. I only think of her as a friend, sir. He insists it hasn't been long since they met, but the old man knows better. The duration doesn't matter. After all, he says, the phrase love at first sight exists for a reason, and you can tell he is speaking from experience. He decides to push a little harder with one simple question. How would you feel if she liked someone else? And that hits a nerve. Because Do Ryung is already drowning in his own head. I think she already does. The chairman presses the wound. So, how does that make you feel? Do Ryung finally lets the mask slip. To be honest, not good. The chairman smiles, the confession is finally coming out. But the idiot is still trying to be noble about it. Since she likes someone else, I don't wish to interfere with her happiness. The chairman throws him a lifeline, but the person she likes could be you, right? Nope. Do Ryung kills that hope instantly. His reasoning is tragic. I've never shown her my good side. The chairman can't believe it. Is there a single person in this country who doesn't like Han Do Ryung? Do Ryung starts listing the exceptions, other than criminals, of course, and the people I've arrested. He adds future criminals, misfits, their families. He even jokes it's a miracle he hasn't been stabbed yet, though he'd probably survive it. The chairman gives him a solid, heavy pat on the back. Have some confidence, son. You are the special police officer of Korea. Act like it. Then he circles back to the mystery. What do you mean you haven't shown your good sides? Did you do something wrong? And Do Ryung just bows deep. I was going to tell you about this. I am so sorry. He finally drops the bombshell. Back then, the one who saved the university wasn't me. It was her. And the chairman's brain just short-circuits. He snaps back to reality, blinking. Wait, what did you just say? He's trying to connect the dots, but they won't touch. Do Ryung confirms it again. It wasn't me. She is the one who shattered the entire building that Black Dog hurled at us. This does not compute. She did, not you. Do Ryung nods, dead serious. And suddenly, a memory clicks into place like a loaded gun. Rosa's grandmother telling him, "Don't arrest Black Dog." The grandma had said she is. My granddaughter. The chairman looks like he's staring at a ghost. His internal monologue is screaming. The realization hits like a freight train. His star officer is in love with Black Dog. He's panicking now, his voice cracking as he asks what kind of ability she has. Do Ryung, completely oblivious, just smiles. High movement speed. The chairman explodes. Nonsense. He grabs Do Ryung by the shoulders, his tone turning ice cold. Han Du-ryung. I'm sorry, but I think you're being played for a fool. Du-ryung doesn't get it. Shattering a skyscraper using only high-speed movement. That is physically impossible. Du-ryung tries to remind the chairman of his own philosophy. The chairman once told a young Du-ryung that in a world of special abilities, he must remain open-minded. But the chairman is screaming, not this one. He is absolutely losing his mind. The terror is real. A special police officer liking Diana's granddaughter, if she finds out about this connection. His mind is made up. No, I have to kill this romance right here. He turns to Du-ryung with a new strategy. Listen to me. The feelings you have for that girl, they aren't real. He starts gaslighting him for his own good. You are confused. You are just confusing the feeling of fear with love. Du-ryung tries to argue, pointing out that logic makes zero sense. That isn't love, sir. But the chairman isn't listening. This is about your life. Du-ryung is just left wondering why he's so dramatic. But Du-ryung has had enough of this emotional roller coaster. He comes up with a brilliant, terrible idea. You know what, Mr. Chairman? I will recommend her to become a special police officer. His logic, I want to confirm my feelings by keeping her right by my side. Plus, he thinks it'll be safer for them both. The chairman is officially malfunctioning again. The chairman is losing it. There isn't a criminal alive stronger than you. Du-ryung just blinks. What are you saying? There's Black Dog. The chairman starts to argue, but Black Dog is. And then he remembers Grandma's face and shuts his mouth before he says too much. He gives up on logic. Anyway, I'm telling you it won't do. Du-ryung just says okay and starts to walk off, leaving the old man totally baffled. He calls after him, asking if he's actually mad. Du-ryung turns back, his resolve hardened. No matter how much you disapprove this time, I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I will have her become a special police officer, no matter what it takes. And the chairman can only stare at him, completely defeated by the boy's stubbornness. They go back and forth. Don't be stubborn. How are you even going to do that? I have plenty of experience in this field. Du-ryung clearly has a plan. And it is a terrible one. You'll change your mind once you meet her in person. The next day, the chairman is back at his desk, still reeling from the bombshell. How did Han Du-ryung end up falling for Black Dog of all people? Just then, an officer walks in. She hands him a witness sketch of Black Dog. He has one brief moment of hope, until he sees the paper. It's a perfect drawing of Diana. The officer says the sketch might not be accurate, but the chairman knows. Oh, it's very accurate. He quickly tells her to bury the report. No, let this stay strictly between the two of us. He stares at the picture, a small, sad smile on his face. Seriously, she looks just like her grandmother. His subordinate is completely lost, watching him stare at a criminal's face. He just sighs and rubs his temples. I didn't know that Han Du-ryung only went for looks. Meanwhile, back at home, Rosa is losing it. You're going to disguise yourself as Black Dog. She tries to tell her grandma she can handle this, but Grandma is not having it. Do you think living as a criminal is some kind of game? You will be chased forever, until the entire world finally forgets you ever existed. And so, to protect her granddaughter at any cost, she dons the Black Dog gear herself, and I will do anything for you. Rosa is horrified, but Grandma, there is just one tiny problem. The costume does not fit, and you're about to see why. Grandma lays it out for a stunned Rosa. Only until the whole world forgets, you will be chased forever. She pulls on the Black Dog gas mask with a look of pure, terrifying determination. And I will do anything for you. Rosa is horrified, but Grandma. But there's a slight problem. The suit is decidedly snug. In fact, it's ripping at every seam. Trapped in the fabric prison, she can only manage a muffled help before her grand plan officially collapses. Now back in her love shirt, Grandma sits Rosa down for a serious, scathing talk. Special police officers, they're all sons of bitches. She warns her, one day, you'll regret it if you trust those people. If only she knew how right she was, for all the wrong reasons. Rosa, putting two and two together and getting five, blurts, so you're saying you were also a criminal. Grandma, predictably, is not amused. Did you use your butthole to listen to me? Rosa argues she hasn't done anything bad yet, but Grandma is absolutely furious. They're even having this conversation. Rosa finally explodes. It's not a sin to like someone. And Grandma loses it. It's okay to commit a sin, but liking someone isn't allowed. Rosa's mind struggles to keep up, but Grandma isn't done yet. If you're going to continue being adamant about this, I will spank you. Rosa just gives her the absolute stink eye. Grandma points dramatically to the ripped costume. You have ripped your grandma's heart apart. But Rosa's got a comeback, ready and waiting. I, too, have my heart ripped into pieces. She gestures to the tear in the suit, and her own broken heart. That's it, she's had enough. From now onwards, I'm going to stop talking to you. With a final huff, she storms out. And yes, for the record, she absolutely got spanked. With her ripped vigilante suit stuffed into a bag, she heads to the one place she can get it fixed. She arrives at her friend's alteration shop, a beacon of hope for damaged fabric. I wanted to get this sewed. Her friend takes the bag, no questions asked, already anticipating the worst. But seeing the state of the tactical gear, even he has to ask, what happened to this? Before she can answer, her other friends intervene, looking her up and down with critical eyes. Instead, their focus immediately shifts to her other uniform, her clothes. How many years have you been wearing that? One asks. I think I saw those same clothes 10 years ago. Rosa proudly declares she bought it in middle school. They are profoundly unimpressed. Suddenly, Rosa is surrounded. This isn't just an alteration shop anymore, it's an intervention, a fashion intervention. Right on cue, her secret keeper Woosub walks in to pick up his clothes, oblivious to the coming storm. Her friends immediately drag him into it. Young man, take a look at this, is this pretty? Poor Woosub has no idea what he's walking into, but he's about to get a front row seat. They reveal a completely transformed Park Rosa, a vision in modern style. And even Rosa has to admit, she looks good. Her friends, meanwhile, are practically in tears of joy. Later, walking down the street, Woosub is still absolutely roaring with laughter about the whole ordeal. Rosa is genuinely confused. What's wrong with this shirt? He just pleads, please, buy some clothes. Then Woosub asks the million-dollar question, the one that makes Rosa freeze. Don't tell me you wore that on the date. And Rosa just shuts down. Face planting right onto the pavement, the memory hits her like a truck. The memory of Do Ryung's cutting words. Han Do-ryung. He said that he's never met anyone worse than me. Woosub helps her up, trying to talk some much-needed sense into her. He tells her not to worry. After all, he wasn't referring to you. He was talking about Black Dog. Rosa just stares, processing this new, shocking information. Are you stupid? And then it clicks. He hates Black Dog the vigilante, not Park Rosa the person. In her sudden wave of relief and excitement, she shoves him. A little too hard. She immediately apologizes as he picks himself up off the ground. It's okay. At least you're back to your original self. She apologizes again for getting too excited, realizing she might have dislocated his shoulder in her joy. Don't die, Woosub, she pleads, fussing over her stunned friend, but from a distance, someone is watching. It's Han Do-ryung out for some fresh air, and his eyes are fixed dead center on them. Let's rewind just an hour ago. Do-ryung was in the middle of a serious, deeply personal internal debate. And by that, we mean a full-blown, multi-personality, existential crisis. His professional side argues they should be focused on Black Dog. Dating, are you out of your mind? His lovesick side tries to rationalize it. It's not about dating. We're still friends. But his professional side isn't buying it for a second. Then a third, very old-fashioned persona barges in, screaming there's no such thing as friendship between genders. A fourth, more casual Do-ryung calls out the hypocrisy. If she's just a friend, why were you jealous of Nam Woosub? Why did you miss her? The whole thing devolves into his own personalities shouting at each other about dating versus protecting the country. The man clearly is having a complete breakdown. Back in reality, Gi Jungi snaps him out of it. Han Do-ryung, what are you thinking about? Do-ryung is totally flustered, caught off guard by the sudden intrusion. Turns out Jungi just walked in. You startled me. Please ring the doorbell first. I did. Jungi tries to get down to business. Black Dog was acting weird. He points out that they could have escaped his ability easily, but chose not to. He explains how Black Dog escaped the octopus monster just to come back and catch him. He even heard a girl's voice. But Do-ryung isn't listening at all. His mind is 1,000 miles away, in a debate with himself. Jungi is deep in his own conspiracy theory. Did she really give him my handkerchief? That bastard. He leans over the table, trying desperately to get Do-ryung's attention. I am telling you something that's really, really important right now. Do-ryung finally looks up, completely lost. What are you actually thinking about? Realizing how spaced out he's been, Do-ryung apologizes. What's wrong with me today? He excuses himself to get some air, completely blowing past Jungi's urgent request to bring back ice cream. And that brings us back to the present, Do-ryung on his walk. And needless to say, that ice cream never reached Gi Jungi. Back at the office, Jungi feels a sudden chill, probably just his snack-deprived, conspiracy theorist soul. Do-ryung stares at Rosa and Woo-sub together. His expression hardens, a storm brewing behind his eyes. Seeing them, something in his head snaps into focus. He thinks he's finally thinking rationally, you know. He's finally realized something critically, dangerously important. Rosa looks up, sensing someone's gaze, sensing a shift in the air. And there he is, Han Do-ryung. No time to think, no time to run, just a sudden, unavoidable collision. He flashes a charming smile, pulling his mask down. I didn't expect to see you here, he says, but you know exactly what he means. Rosa freezes. Out of all the people to run into tonight, it just had to be him. Woo-sub steps back, completely caught off guard by the handsome officer appearing out of thin air. Do-ryung pulls down his mask with a picture-perfect smile, but his eyes, those stay cold. He zeroes in on Woo-sub, acting friendly while radiating pure interrogation energy. Woo-sub's survival instincts are screaming. This isn't a greeting, it's a threat. He looks at Do-ryung and instantly flashes back to the terrifying, elite police officer he saw on the news. Are this bubbly guy and that monster from the raid really the same person? Do-ryung just keeps smiling, radiating a bright, angelic aura that feels dangerously fake. Woo-sub tries to stay calm, deciding his best move is to just play along and match the tone. He stammers out a greeting, trying to ease the tension, but Do-ryung is already hunting for answers. Woo-sub explains they were just getting her clothes fixed, but the vibe is getting incredibly awkward. The intense glare is suffocating. What did Woo-sub even do to deserve this? Do-ryung is privately fuming, remembering how this civilian kept talking back during the mission. His mind goes to a dark place. What if this guy is actually Black Dog's accomplice, manipulating Rosa? He remembers Woo-sub smugly writing his number on Rosa's hand. Yeah, he is definitely keeping an eye on this guy. But since Rosa doesn't seem to mind the guy, Do-ryung has to play it cool. Realizing he is towering over them, he immediately bends down to get on their level. He looks at Rosa and brings up their last meetup. You know, the date she stood him up on. He genuinely apologizes for being late and asks if she waited long. Talk about a guilt trip. Rosa's heart drops. She didn't wait at all. She never even replied to his messages because she was too busy crying to her grandmother. She panics and quickly lies, claiming she also had something urgent come up. Do-ryung immediately asks if she is free right now. She happily agrees, leaving Woo-sub completely in the dust. But Woo-sub is a quick thinker. He sees exactly what is happening here. A smirk forms on his face as he realizes the famous hero is actually jealous. And so, the ultimate wingman decides to play a little game. He interrupts them, addressing Rosa directly just to get a rise out of Do-ryung. He puts a hand on her shoulder and loudly reminds her that they were on their way to get dinner. Rosa looks at him totally confused. Dinner since when? Woo-sub secretly kicks her under the table, Read the room, Rosa. She finally catches on and stammers out that she totally forgot she had plans. Du Ryung stares at them, his expression completely blank. He isn't stupid. He can see right through this incredibly obvious lie. Meanwhile, Rosa is just standing there wondering when they actually made plans. Bless her heart. Du Ryung sighs. Since they already have plans, it seems he has no choice. Woo-sub holds his breath. Did his little test actually work? Du Ryung smiles and points to himself. Then bring me along. Woo-sub's jaw drops. This guy really just crashed their fake dinner date. And just like that, the trio heads down to a local chicken joint. Woo-sub complains about how scary Du Ryung was earlier, but the officer just claims he was keeping his work life separate. Rosa silently munches on her chicken, feeling like she is sitting in on a university presentation. Woo-sub admits he is jealous of how cool Du Ryung looks, but the officer quickly disagrees. He looks at Rosa and confesses he actually wants her to visit him at the police headquarters. Rosa's eyes light up. She can actually go there. Woo-sub's soul almost leaves his body. Black Dog visiting the police headquarters. Is she insane? He tries to stop her, but Rosa is already agreeing. Du Ryung then mentions he has something private to talk about. Rosa leans in, curious. What could it be? Du Ryung gives a gentle smile. He wants to save it for when they are completely alone. Woo-sub's eyes widen. Okay, it is official. The legendary hero definitely views him as a romantic rival. This is wild. Rosa is practically glowing with happiness, completely oblivious to the silent war. Woo-sub slumps in his chair. He just wants to go home and sleep. He looks at Rosa's happy face and sighs. At least his best friend is getting what she wants. Du Ryung suddenly pauses and reaches for his collar. He complains about the heat and starts unzipping his jacket, revealing a plain white t-shirt underneath. But as he does, a sharp cracking sound echoes from Rosa's side of the table. Both guys freeze. The heavy glass cup in Rosa's hand has completely shattered. Woo-sub panics. Her super strength just manifested because she got flustered by a guy unzipping his jacket. He quickly raises his hand to call the waiter, trying to cover up her absurd physical power. He laughs it off, teasing Rosa for being clumsy to keep Du Ryung from getting suspicious. But Du Ryung is not laughing. He gives Woo-sub a freezing, icy glare. He tells Woo-sub he should worry about her getting hurt first, completely misreading the situation. The tension between the two guys is thick enough to cut with a knife. But Rosa, she has never felt happier in her entire life. Woo-sub sighs and asks if she really has to show her joy so obviously. She blushes, admitting she has never really had friends to hang out with like this. She explains that she has always been incredibly shy, which kept her isolated growing up. Both guys look at her, their hearts instantly softening. She looks down, remembering how her grandmother always told her to stop playing around. She suddenly stops, realizing she might be bringing down the mood. Woo-sub quickly reassures her, but then he notices something frustrating. He points out that he can barely see her eyes because of her long, messy bangs. He reaches over, telling her to just brush them aside because it is driving him crazy. Rosa panics and immediately swats his hand away, screaming no. Woo-sub insists on helping, but Rosa grabs his wrist and squeezes hard enough to crush bone. Du Ryung watches this physical comedy, his face completely expressionless. He gently reaches out his own hand toward her face. Rosa freezes as his fingers softly brush her hair aside. He stares straight into her exposed eyes and tells her they are beautiful. Rosa's face completely flushes bright red. Her brain has officially short-circuited. Did he really just say that to her? Meanwhile, back at Rosa's apartment, the lights are completely off. Her grandmother stands in the dark, staring down at a framed photo in her hands. It is a picture of her holding a young Rosa. She regrets yelling at her only granddaughter. Suddenly, she hears a strange, rustling sound coming from the other room. She turns around, instantly on high alert. Is someone in the house? She opens the door to investigate, expecting an intruder. But she only finds Rosa standing there in the dark. Rosa holds up a pair of scissors and a drawing, asking if she is cutting her bangs the right way. Looks like those pretty eyes are finally going to be visible. Diana stares down at her granddaughter, absolutely bewildered. Rosa stands there, every muscle tense, waiting for a verdict. She sheepishly asks if the scissors are even pointed the right way. The silence in the room is so thick you could cut it with those blades. Wait, did they just completely forget they were in the middle of a massive fight? Yes, they did. Diana sighs, because there is no way she is letting Rosa destroy her own hair. She demands the scissors with the authority of a woman who has survived decades of bad choices. Time for a midnight grandmotherly styling session. Rosa quietly apologizes for the shouting match. Diana keeps snipping away, her focus unwavering. She admits she shouldn't have hit her, offering an olive branch with every cut. Then she pulls out a literal plastic bowl as a guide and asks if she is a bad grandmother. Rosa smiles, finally feeling the warmth of her family again. She loves her grandma, especially when the old woman is trying this hard to help. Diana lifts the bowl with a flourish, all done. Rosa picks up a mirror to check the masterpiece. Oh no, oh dear Lord, no. It is a jagged, uneven, completely ruined micro-fringe. Rosa screams in absolute horror. Diana tries to defend the disaster with sheer volume, claiming it is high fashion. The damage is done, and Rosa is officially traumatized. Cut to the next day, and Woosub is being recruited for a rescue mission. Rosa is physically shaking him, hiding her shame under a cap in pure panic. He points to a hair shop, yelling that they need a professional intervention immediately. Even the professional stylist looks like he just stepped into a crime scene. Later that evening, as the sun begins to dip below the skyline, Woosub asks if she is really going to wear that cap forever. She has no choice. The salon could only do so much to save those bangs. She is crying inside, wondering how she can ever face Mr. Han looking like a hacked-up hedge. Suddenly, she bumps straight into a passerby. She quickly apologizes, but the man tells her to watch where she is going. Wait, look at this guy. Why does he look so familiar? He stares down at her with a deadly serious expression. Keep your eyes on this man, because he remembers a face even if it is under a hat. Years ago, he was a massive fanboy, cheering Mr. Han on with custom signs. He was saved by a 17-year-old Han, Du Ryung back in the day. Look at him getting princess carried by the young hero, pure bliss. He fell in love with Du Ryung's heroism that very instant. But then Black Dog came along and absolutely wrecked his idol's perfect record. And in the process, she swatted this poor guy into a concrete wall like a fly. Yeah, he was officially the very first victim of Rosa's ridiculous physical strength. Since that day, he has sworn absolute vengeance. And guess what? He studied his butt off and actually became a prosecutor. Now that is what I call a motivated hater. He stares at Rosa, declaring he has been searching for her just to lock her up. Rosa is completely clueless, while Woosub starts sweating bullets. The prosecutor lights a cigarette, and suddenly a bunch of masked guys appear behind him. He summons his squad, and Woosub immediately grabs Rosa's hand and bolts. Woosub asks what she did, but she insists she has been on her best behavior lately. The prosecutor draws a literal sword, chasing them down like a total maniac. Rosa suddenly skids to a halt and tells him to wait. She asks if this is about that time she broke his window. He flatly says no, not even close. Woosub is losing his mind, screaming at her to keep running. She yells that she finally remembers him now. She asks if they went to elementary school together. Woosub facepalms, yelling that she got it wrong again. He asks why she doesn't just teleport them out, but there are too many witnesses. Woosub looks back, seeing the angry mob gaining ground. Rosa spots a large commercial building ahead and heads straight for the entrance. The prosecutor orders his men to follow them into the maze. He stands inside the bustling mall, scanning the crowd like a hawk. They completely lost their targets in the shopping center. Meanwhile, up on a higher floor, Woosub catches his breath, boasting that he just saved her life. But Rosa isn't even listening. She's already wandering off into a store. A clerk asks if she's looking for something specific today. She sheepishly asks for a checkered handkerchief. Woo-sub recalls the office talk about the handkerchief Do-ryung lost. He realizes exactly what she is doing and looks completely dumbfounded. She buys the replacement and asks for the premium gift wrapping. Rosa looks away, her face burning red under the brim of her cap. They walk back out into the main mall area, gift in hand. Woo-sub asks why she gave him the original if it belonged to Do-ryung. She mutters that she thought Woo-sub was Do-ryung at first, then just forgot to ask for it back. She just wanted to replace it since he lost it because of her. Woo-sub finally connects the dots about Do-ryung's extreme jealousy. He tells her the old one is probably in his laundry and offers to return it. He looks at her, a mischievous idea forming in his head. He nudges her arm, whining that she should buy him a gift too. Rosa gives him a flat, cold refusal. Absolute zero. Woo-sub sulks instantly. Suddenly, she spots the prosecutor's men nearby and grabs Woo-sub, muffling his mouth. He is completely startled by her sudden grip. The prosecutor is literally showing people a stick figure drawing. Who is going to recognize that? Woo-sub whispers that escaping the exits is going to be incredibly difficult. Rosa looks at him and asks if he has any money on him. Cut to a clothing rack, and she flat out refuses his idea. Woo-sub forces her into the changing room, telling her she has to wear it to blend in. The store clerks watch them, thinking they are just a cute young couple on a date. Outside, the masked men are still searching every corner. The prosecutor stands firm, confident his blockade is foolproof. He dares them to try and escape his dragnet. Just then, a pair of legs walks right past him. His eyes widen as he recognizes a very specific feature. He turns to look, convinced he has finally found her. And there she is, sporting a sleek high ponytail, chic sunglasses, and a stunning black dress. The prosecutor plants his feet, convinced he finally has the devil in his sights. He is done chasing ghosts. Then he sees it, the one detail he burned into his memory years ago. That specific hair length. There is no doubt this is her. This woman, strutting past him with the confidence of a movie star, has to be Black Dog. He cuts her off, her ponytail whipping through the air just inches from his nose. Wait right there. He points a trembling finger, years of frustration bubbling over. Remove those sunglasses. Woo-sub is practically vibrating with sweat, but Rosa does not even blink. She slides the shades off, revealing a face so polished and professional he stops breathing. What is up? The prosecutor just stands there, his brain short-circuiting in real time. This elegant socialite looks nothing like the hooded nightmare he has hunted. Desperate, he pulls out his master evidence, a literal stick figure drawing. We are looking for this girl. Is it you? Rosa takes the sketch, fighting a soul-crushing urge to laugh in his face. She locks eyes with him, stone-faced. Not me. I do not think I am the person you are looking for. She turns her back on him. Can I go now? Before he can process the insult, his subordinate screams that they found a lookalike blocks away. The distraction is all they need. Woo-sub grabs her arm and they vanish into the crowd. Woo-sub lets out a breath he was holding for 5 minutes. That actually worked. He is in awe of her ice-cold composure, until he looks down and sees her legs shaking like a leaf. They collapse onto a park bench, the high-stakes adrenaline finally leaving the building. Neither of them says a word, just listening to their own racing hearts. Woo-sub asks where she learned such perfect English, and she gives the credit to her grandma, Diana, who lived in the States. Then the reality of the near miss hits her, and Rosa sinks onto his shoulder, exhausted. She admits she never expected the prosecutor's task force to be patrolling the sidewalk. She cannot believe they are still obsessed with her after all this time, but Woo-sub's eyes are elsewhere. A price tag. She was so panicked she left the tag dangling off her new dress. He tells her to tilt her head so he can snap it off. Rosa pulls her hair aside, exposing the pale line of her neck. Suddenly the air gets very thin. Woo-sub freezes, his face turning a bright shade of red. He fumbles with the tag, trying to sound like a man who is not currently dying inside. Do not worry too much. He tells her they will never catch her now, not with this new look. She has superpowers, and they are just regular humans with badges. They do not even have a photo. It should be fine, except it is not. Across town, the prosecutor is losing his mind. He knows that face was the one. He just needs one thing to prove it: a professional police sketch artist. Back at headquarters, Sei and Jang-sun are huddled over a phone like they found buried treasure. They are scrolling through a fan edit of Mr. Do-ryung, and yes, the abs are included. The man himself appears out of nowhere and yanks the phone out of their hands. His face is pure crimson. Are you two actually collecting data on me? Jang-sun just shrugs, telling him the thirsty fans are the only thing keeping his reputation alive after the Black Dog fight. Do-ryung scrolls down further and finds an entire page dedicated to his private life. It is a disaster zone of fake news, claiming he is dating 50 different women at once. Another post says he is a secret mob boss. He looks like he wants to cry, but this is not me. He realizes the internet has turned him into a fictional character. Jang-sun tells him to go on YouTube to clear the air, and while Sei is ready to film, Do-ryung gives a hard no. Jang-sun knows exactly how to bait the hook, even if it gets you 1 million subscribers, Sei. Her eyes literally turn into dollar signs. She would sell him out in a heartbeat for that clout. Do-ryung pivots as fast as he can. He needs a restaurant for a friend. Jang-sun points him towards Sei. She is the resident expert on everything trendy and expensive. He realizes he is trapped. As a live streamer, she knows every romantic spot in the city. Sei smells a deal. She will plan his date, but it is going to cost him. They shake on it. One perfect date plan for one appearance on her channel. Jang-sun jumps in, suggesting the best angles for a couple's photo to really make it official. Sei takes the lead, mapping out dinner, drinks, and a movie with military precision. Jang-sun watches them leaning in close together and decides this moment is too good to waste. She snaps a photo that looks exactly like two people sharing a secret romance. And you know exactly where this is going. That photo is a ticking time bomb. Later that night, Do-ryung is standing at the meeting spot, looking like a nervous wreck. It does not help that he is a celebrity officer being spotted by every passerby. A group of girls recognize him immediately and start whispering behind their hands. He tries to look cool, but his hands are shoved so deep in his pockets they might rip. He is already regretting letting Woo-sub handle Rosa earlier. His mind is spiraling. What if she thinks this is just a meeting? Am I the only one who thinks this is a date? Just as he is about to bolt, he feels a soft tap on his shoulder. Do-ryung. He turns around and the world just stops. It is Rosa. He takes her in. The high ponytail, the dress, the glow. The date is officially on. A soft tap on the shoulder makes him jump like he has been struck by lightning. Do-ryung spins around, desperately trying to look like he hasn't been sweating bullets for 20 minutes. But the moment he locks eyes with her, his brain officially short-circuits. There she is. High ponytail, absolute glow-up, and clutching a gift bag like a secret weapon. She catches him staring, and her face goes full tomato mode. Her heart is beating so loud. She is sending mental thank yous to Woo-sub for the makeover assist. They start bickering over who arrived first just to keep the awkwardness at bay. Do-ryung rubs the back of his neck, his ears turning a shade of red that should be illegal. He managed to squeak out, "You look beautiful today," and Rosa practically evaporates. Speechless, completely and utterly offline. They just stand there giggling like absolute dorks who forgot how to function in public. His eyes finally drift down to the bag she is strangling. She gasps, realizing she has been holding his surprise hostage this whole time. She pulls out a brand new, perfectly folded checkered handkerchief. She sheepishly admits she lost his old one during the chaos. She spent her entire hectic day hunting down a matching replacement just for him. He is so touched he has to hide his face behind his hand to keep from beaming. The vibes are immaculate, and the night is just getting started. First stop, the movie theater. They blend into the crowd, walking shoulder to shoulder while scanning the posters. Rosa's eyes light up when she sees the main attraction. The poster for Call the Devil looks like a one-way ticket to nightmare fuel. Do-ryung asks if she is sure, but she is hyped for her very first horror flick. Suddenly, Do-ryung starts overthinking the physics of a date. He spots a nearby couple clinging to each other in pure, unadulterated terror. He smirks, thinking this is his golden opportunity to be the brave protector. There is just one tiny, crucial detail he is forgetting. It is his first time watching a horror movie, too. The lights dim, the jump scares start, and the theater is filled with genuine shrieks. Do-ryung is acting tough, repeating a mantra in his head that this is all special effects. He sneaks a look at her, expecting to see her trembling in his direction. But Rosa is just casually sipping her soda, watching the screen like it is the news. Meanwhile, Do-ryung flinches so hard his soul almost leaves his body. The cinematic cops are taking way too long to arrive, and he is losing it. Rosa glances over, sensing the seat next to her vibrating. Do-ryung is literally rattling in his seat, his knuckles white from gripping the armrests. He covers his mouth, praying to every god he knows for the credits to roll. Suddenly, a soft hand gently rests on his knee. Rosa leans in close and whispers, "Are you okay?" He nearly hits the ceiling from the sudden contact. He tries to bluff with a weak, trembling nod that fools absolutely nobody. Finally, the credits roll and Do-ryung lets out a sigh of pure survival. But when he turns to Rosa, tears are streaming down her face. He is baffled. Which part of a demon possession movie was supposed to be a tear-jerker? She tries to hold it back, but the tragic ending hit her right in the feelings. He leans over and gently wipes her tears away with his thumb. They head back out into the vibrant, bustling streets to walk off the adrenaline. Do-ryung asks which scene actually managed to scare her. She says the scariest part was the police not showing up. Ouch, right in his professional pride. He pivots quickly, asking why the waterworks started. She says it was heartbreaking, watching the main character hide his true identity from the world. She stops dead, realizing her life as Black Dog is the exact same script. She looks at him, wondering if the truth would end everything they have right now. Before the mood can spiral, Do-ryung grabs her hand and pulls her forward. He points toward a cute gift shop with a massive, goofy grin on his face. Her face flushes again as she lets herself be dragged into the light. She makes a silent promise to tell him later, but for now, she just wants this moment. Inside the shop, Do-ryung bursts out laughing at one of the shelves. He holds up a black cat plushie with the exact same blank stare Rosa gives him. She immediately starts hunting for something to hit him back with. She finds a smug, pointy-eared yellow cat and shoves it in his face. He denies it instantly. There is no way he looks that arrogant. She just smiles and tells him he looks way better in real life anyway. Fatal blow, Do-ryung is down for the count. He snatches both plushies and heads straight for the register. He turns away, blushing furiously while hugging the stuffed animals tight. Rosa is officially charmed by how easy it is to break his composure. She leans in and whispers a soft thank you. Outside, she pulls out her phone to document her new cat companion. She steals a glance at him, wishing she had the guts to ask for a selfie together. But she hesitates, worried about pushing her luck. Do-ryung notices the look and decides to take the lead. He steps into the frame and asks if she wants a photo of the two of them. He beams at the camera while she just stares wide-eyed at their reflection. They lean in close for the shot, their faces just inches apart for one perfect second. She can already hear the collective scream of his fan club if this ever leaked. Do-ryung checks his phone and mentions an escape room say recommended. Rosa's heart leaps, puzzles and teamwork say no more. They arrive at the venue, and Do-ryung points to the specific room on his list. The receptionist smiles, reading out a title that sounds a little off. She begins explaining the rules of the game with a very professional straight face. She cuffs their wrists together, telling them the only way out is to find the key. Then she casually asks if they are both over 18. They both blink, the gears in their heads grinding to a halt. Their faces turn a deep, terrifying crimson as the realization hits. This isn't a detective game. It is a 19-plus adult escape room. The sign on the wall confirms their absolute worst fears. Do-ryung stammers, pointing at the distinctly naked mannequins waiting for them inside. He screams Sei's name in pure betrayal as the door locks them into the ultimate trap. After barely surviving Sei's mortifying 19-plus escape room, the compensation paid, they make their very, very awkward exit. But just moments before, as Rosa methodically worked through the puzzles, Do-ryung was absolutely pleading with her. Please don't touch, not there. He's not worried about the puzzles. He's worried about what's in the puzzles. As she grabs one of the props, he yelps, "Don't hold that too tight." But Rosa is laser-focused. She pulls it open and just says, "There are only batteries." She's already on to the next clue, dragging a mortified Do-ryung along for the ride. He's getting yanked around by the handcuffs, completely at her mercy. And he has a sudden, horrifying realization. Wait a second, why is she so strong? Meanwhile, Rosa finds a cabinet with a sign practically begging not to be opened. It's just props. So of course, she immediately tries to open it. Do-ryung panics, but Rosa just deadpans. Sus. In her mind, the most suspicious thing is telling someone not to look. Do-ryung is absolutely baffled by her logic. He lurches to stop her, but her strength sends them both tumbling over. And they land in, well, this is a compromising position. The cabinet door flies open, revealing a pile of adult magazines. Rosa is just confused by the fall. Do-ryung, on the other hand, has ascended to a new plane of embarrassment. He just whispers, "Stop. Let's compensate and leave." So after that whole disaster and another compensation fee, they finally walk home in complete, awkward silence. Do-ryung tries to apologize, saying he had no idea it was that kind of theme. But Rosa, completely oblivious to his suffering, just beams. It was fun. Little do they know, they're being watched. Two figures spot Do-ryung, but don't recognize the girl he's with. Meet Transparent and S-Lime, a duo of special criminals. Their brilliant plan: use the girl as a hostage to get to Do-ryung. The invisible woman, Transparent, closes in, ready to snatch Rosa in the blink of an eye. Rosa feels something tickle her shoulder. She thinks it's a fly, and with a casual flick of her finger, sends the invisible villain flying into a pile of trash cans. The crash echoes down the street, making them both jump. A nearby shop owner just wonders why his boxes fell over on their own. He just shrugs it off as one of those weird things that happens. And ever the hero, Do-ryung offers to help the man pick everything up. Look at that face. You know the one. The shop owner is absolutely smitten. Meanwhile, back in the alley, S-Lime is trying to help his partner out of the garbage. He's furious, asking why she just fell over, but Transparent is in shock. No, it was that girl. She is strong, defeated by a finger flick, embarrassing. As Do-ryung finishes his good deed, S-Lime seizes his chance for revenge, melting into a puddle on the ground. His plan: let her guard down, then grab her from below and use her as a hostage. He wraps his slime body around her ankle and pulls, but something's wrong. She's not moving. He can't budge her an inch. As Do-ryung and Rosa decide to leave, she takes a step, casually dragging the slime man with her. Then her other foot comes down, right on his face, with a jolt of static electricity. A blood-curdling scream echoes from the ground, and our couple turns around, confused. They don't see anything, but S-Lime is hiding, terrified. Rosa just thinks she stepped in something sticky. His partner is fuming. "See, I told you to be careful." S-Lime can only whimper. She isn't normal. As Rosa peers around the corner, she spots the two of them hiding, completely naked, looking very suspicious. They freeze, realizing they've been caught. So, doing her civic duty, Rosa pulls out her phone and makes a call. A few minutes later, another special police officer arrives, thanking Rosa for reporting the wanted criminals. In the back of the car, the defeated duo are covered in glow-in-the-dark stickers for reasons, wondering how it all went so wrong. The officer is impressed. "How did you catch them?" Rosa just shrugs. "I didn't do much. I just somehow." Do-ryung is just trying to process this. His date, a civilian, just accidentally took down two special criminals he didn't even see. He's so flustered, he just tries to shoo the officer away so he can leave. But before she leaves, the officer has one last thing to say to Rosa. With a wink, she whispers, "Take good care of Han Do-ryung." Do-ryung practically shoves them both away, his face bright red, as the officer drives off laughing. Finally alone again, Do-ryung lets out a massive sigh. He turns to Rosa and apologizes. "I keep presenting an embarrassing side of myself in front of you." He's sure she must be disappointed in him. But Rosa frantically shakes her head. Not at all, they were invisible, they were crawling on the ground. "It's natural for you not to notice." And she says it with such sincerity. "You're really nice. You're defending me like this, and you're one of the few strongest individuals I know." And that hits him hard. He's not just some guy to her, she genuinely respects him. The mood suddenly shifts. And Do-ryung thinks maybe, just maybe, this is the moment. He leans in close, the city lights reflecting in her eyes. He starts to ask the question that's been on his mind. He reaches for her hand, his expression dead serious. "Would you capture Black Dog with me?" He starts to ask the question that's been on his mind. He reaches for her hand, his expression dead serious. "Would you capture Black Dog with me?" He tells her, "I can't do this alone, but with you I can actually win." Then the real question drops. "So, please become a special police officer." Rosa's world just grinds to a halt. Everywhere she looks, the reminders scream at her. News reports about the menace known as Black Dog. Her mind spins into overdrive. He wants her to hunt herself. She can only think one thing. What if Black Dog had no ill will? What would happen then? Do-ryung just stares. "No ill will? What exactly do you mean?" Rosa starts to explain. What if there was a reason for everything? He cuts her off, pulling his hand away with a sharp "Rosa. Black Dog doesn't have a reason." His tone is cold, all business. He says even if there was one, it doesn't change the fact that citizens are terrified, and the danger is real. Sure, no one's gotten hurt yet, but letting this continue is just asking for a disaster. Whatever Black Dog's intention was, the fact that we should capture them doesn't change. But Rosa needs to know. What happens after you capture them? Do-ryung doesn't even flinch. He lays out the law, quoting his own chairman without a blink. A criminal deemed a danger to citizens can be liable to execution if they have a special ability. And then he brings the hammer down. "I'm certain that Black Dog will be executed." The words just hang in the air between them. They walk in absolute silence. The romantic mood of the date lies completely shattered. And Do-ryung is kicking himself. What is with this atmosphere? He'd expected her to be all for it, shouting, "Sure, let's go capture that evil criminal." Okay, maybe mentioning that execution part was a slight miscalculation. This is the same girl who was bawling her eyes out during the movie earlier. He starts to worry. Is she too emotional to be an officer, and she just keeps muttering execution? He has to change the topic and fast. He looks around, desperate for a distraction. Then suddenly, a commotion brews up ahead. A crowd is gathering. People are buzzing, looks like they're filming a drama or something. Rosa and Do-ryung get a look over the crowd. And Rosa's eyes go wide, a celebrity. She glances over at Do-ryung, totally starstruck. She asks, "Aren't you amazed?" But he just tries to play it cool. Well, meeting celebrities is a norm for me." Rosa looks a little disappointed. "Must be nice. It's my first time seeing one." Seeing his chance to salvage the date, Do-ryung puffs out his chest. He leans in, getting close. "Do you want to go closer?" But she just blushes and says, "Nah, I can see your face clearly from here." "Oof, so close." They stand there together, watching the crowd, closer than they were before. And it gets Rosa thinking. Do-ryung hates Black Dog. He sees her as a monster to be put down. But he doesn't hate her. He's been nothing but kind to the real Rosa. If I were to confess in this disguise, would he accept me? Her confidence wavers. She's just another fan in the crowd. But then she remembers her promise to herself. No, I decided to face this head on. She's about to say something when a guy in the crowd recognizes Do-ryung. Suddenly, the whole vibe shifts. The crowd isn't here for some random actor. They are here for him, and they start to swarm. Fans are screaming, trying to grab him, confessing their love. And Rosa's heart just sinks. Right, this is the kind of person Do-ryung is. A single tear escapes, and I'm just one out of the lot. But Do-ryung sees her. He sees she's getting crushed. He grabs her arm, pulling her close. He crouches down, whispering a plan in her ear. He tells her he can't use his ability while he's off duty. He gives her a grin. Use it. Your high movement speed. Rosa is totally flustered, but she understands. It's time to run. She grabs his wrist. And she pulls. And they are gone, a blur blasting right through the mob of fans. Wait a second. The crowd is left holding nothing but his hat, totally confused. Where did he go? He was just here. Do-ryung pulls them into a quiet alleyway, and suddenly, Rosa finds herself pinned against the wall. He's breathless, apologizing. He just needed to find a place without people. He asks if it's uncomfortable, but Rosa is quick to reassure him. No, not at all. The city noise fades away, leaving just the two of them under the moon. While his fans are still looking, he starts to open up. She asks him, "You normally receive a lot of confessions, right?" He just brushes it off. He thinks it's all just talk. But she insists, what if it was a serious confession? He admits it's possible, but for a fan it's a little difficult, because they have fantasies about him, and he's not sure he can live up to them. I'm not confident that I can meet their expectations. He says something shocking. It's not me who they like. It's the special police officer. Rosa is blown away. She had no idea he felt that way. He looks at her, his voice soft. But it seems like you look at me for the way I am. He admits that's why he's showing her this vulnerable side, even though it's the first time and he's worried. He asks her so earnestly, "Can I keep trusting you?" The face of Black Dog flashes in her mind. The criminal he wants her to hunt. The woman he wants to see executed. She weighs her entire life in this one moment. A long, tense pause. Yes. With her answer, the tension breaks. He pulls back. I think it's gotten quiet out there. Let's go. I'll take you home. The date finally comes to an end. They wave goodbye outside her apartment. He smiles as he watches her go in. But the second he turns around, the smile is gone. He thinks back to when she grabbed his wrist. The feeling of being pulled through that crowd. It felt strangely familiar. Too familiar, like the raw strength of Black Dog herself. He clenches his fist. That wasn't just high movement speed. You know exactly where this is going now. Something else is going on. The station itself feels heavy tonight. Do-ryung stands frozen in the interrogation room, trapped inside his own head. That memory of Rosa pulling him through the mob, it's on repeat. That absolute, undeniable grip of hers. The truth screams at him now. This wasn't just speed. It was instantaneous teleportation. And you know what the real question is. Why did Rosa lie to him? His silent fury is absolutely paralyzing the two criminals right in front of him. They're practically vibrating, desperate to run. But Do-ryung's grip holds them absolutely still. Then footsteps echo, and a fresh wave of panic hits the suspects. Gi Jungi practically explodes into the room, demanding to know what's taking so long. The criminals practically whimper, begging to be taken away from this silent terror. Do-ryung finally blinks, snapping back to a confused reality, seeing Jungi. Jungi sighs heavily, insisting they need a serious chat when this is over. And by serious, he means some long-overdue relationship gossip. Once in the hallway, the real interrogation begins. Jungi immediately shouts about Do-ryung dating, demanding every single detail. He's playing the supportive big brother, declaring Do-ryung's happiness is his own. But then his face drops and he leans in close. He notes Do-ryung looks utterly drained, completely out of it. Do-ryung just sighs, too mentally drained to even deny it. He asks if his recent spacing out cost them a criminal. Joongi scoffs, "No way I'd let one go, but..." Something much worse happened during your transport duty. Because Do-ryung was completely zoned out behind the wheel. Joongi sniffed the police car air, catching a distinct, suspicious scent. He slowly turned to look at the suspects in the backseat. And yeah, Do-ryung's terrifying aura made one of them absolutely lose it. The entire back of the police car was ruined. And Do-ryung, happily oblivious in the front seat. Joongi shudders, still sniffing his own sleeve to make sure the evidence is gone. Do-ryung looks down, admitting something massive is coming, and it's truly scaring him. Joongi poses the brutal question. Can Do-ryung even face Black Dog like this? He even scribbles wild math formulas on a whiteboard, proving Do-ryung's chaotic mind. Do-ryung just stares at him. He sits on the bench, asking Joongi to re-explain his Black Dog theory from back at the house. Joongi sighs, realizing his friend heard none of it the first time. He crosses his arms, ready to dive into his theory again. His core belief: Black Dog has absolutely no intention of hurting Do-ryung. Do-ryung listens, his gloved hands clenching tight. Joongi argues that while the written death threats are terrifying, they simply don't add up to Black Dog's actual behavior. Like that bizarre hostage situation, where the villain literally held up a blank phone. There was one specific moment where Black Dog flat out said she wasn't a bad person. Joongi looks at Do-ryung, curious why this theory finally has his attention. Do-ryung admits he always assumed Black Dog was just a psycho playing games. But in their last encounter, she actually apologized to him sincerely. And before he can even finish his thought, he spots a suspicious figure, practically glued to the vending machine behind them. It's the veteran officer, shamelessly eavesdropping with a massive, knowing grin. The second the veteran appears, Joongi immediately tries to make a quiet escape. The veteran warns him, "Leave work early again and the punishment will be severe." Joongi freezes, completely busted. Then a bright voice slices through the tension. Sei arrives in her casual overalls, flashing a peace sign and a dazzling smile. Joongi immediately grabs her in a massive bear hug, using her as a human shield to escape the veteran. The veteran is puzzled, it's Sei's day off. Sei happily chirps that she only came to the office for Do-ryung. Do-ryung looks up, utterly caught off guard. Sei smiles mischievously, asking if he's already forgotten their deal. With a chillingly sharp gaze, she reminds him, "We're going live." Meanwhile, the university campus is bathed in sunlight, bustling with students. But the warmth won't last. Rosa sits alone on a bench, completely lost in her own world. She holds her drink, wondering if her whole date with Do-ryung was just a beautiful dream. Flashbacks of their incredibly close moments in the theater and on the streets flood her mind. She squeals in absolute delight, completely crushing her soda can in her hand from sheer excitement. The pressure makes the soda burst out, spraying all over her face. And right on cue, Woo-sub and his college friends walk by, catching her in the act. Woo-sub laughs, telling his friend he just saw something absolutely hilarious. He waves his friends off, telling them to go on ahead without him. He approaches the soaking wet Rosa, recognizing her even from behind. Rosa looks up, completely frozen, soda dripping from her face. Woo-sub's friends watch from afar, utterly shocked he's actually talking to her. They quickly head to the campus restrooms so Rosa can clean herself up. Woo-sub teases her, calling her a genuine, unfixable troublemaker. He asks what on earth she was thinking to crush a metal can with her bare hands. Rosa blushes furiously, unable to confess she was dreaming about her date. She finally blurts out the truth, completely shocking Woo-sub. Woo-sub quickly tells her to keep her voice down as she rambles about Do-ryung. Rosa nervously asks what he thinks about Do-ryung's feelings for her. Woo-sub scoffs, saying if Do-ryung doesn't like her back, he's a total idiot. And honestly, can you blame him? Rosa processes this, doing some absolutely hilarious mental math. Her logic: Do-ryung is a good guy, therefore he must like her. The realization makes her face turn a furious red. She starts stomping and squealing again, and Woosub can only laugh at her reaction. But their fun moment is abruptly shattered when they overhear some girls talking nearby. Rosa's ears perk up instantly at the mention of Doryung's name. The girls are discussing Sei's latest live stream, wondering if Doryung is really close to her. Rosa listens silently, her heart beginning to sink. The girls drop a massive rumor. They say Doryung and Sei are actually dating. And just like that, Rosa's joyful mood completely shatters into pieces. Sei is finally going live with her highly anticipated guest, but Doryung looks like he would rather be anywhere else on Earth. He offers an awkward, almost pained wave, and the chat instantly erupts into glorious, beautiful chaos. The viewers simply cannot believe their eyes. The golden boy of the special police is actually live on screen. Sei announces it is her official rest day, meaning she is strictly forbidden from using her formidable abilities. But the chat instantly calls her out, pointing out she was absolutely, definitively using them earlier. And she remembers the truly terrifying scolding she got from Mr. Chairman himself for abusing her powers on her day off. When fans ask why Doryung is patrolling from a high rooftop, Sei tries to cover for him with a straight face. Doryung is completely caught off guard by her bizarre, yet oddly convincing, explanation. He admits he gets mobbed by fans on the streets, making proper patrols practically impossible. Besides, watching the entire city from a high vantage point is just way more efficient for him. Back at headquarters, Mr. Chairman is happily tuned into the stream, completely ignoring his stacks of paperwork. He proudly admits to his staff that he is a massive, unapologetic fan of Sei's channel. The stream chat wastes no time diving into the juicy questions, asking if he has a girlfriend. He denies it instantly, laughing off the ridiculous rumors that he has dated dozens of women. Imagine that. The viewers are loving how deadpan and serious he is about debunking every single piece of gossip. He even has to clarify that he was never, ever part of some secret delinquent gang. When asked about his ideal type, he pauses before admitting he really likes someone who is strong. But then a truly dangerous question pops up. Does he currently have a crush on someone? Doryung hesitates, the words caught in his throat, and Sei's heart stops. Sei mentally screams at him to lie and shut it down before he completely breaks the internet. She glares at him from behind the camera, desperately willing him to just stay quiet. But with total brutal honesty, Doryung drops a massive bomb. I do. Sei's brain completely short-circuits as the chat goes absolutely ballistic, as expected. Even Mr. Chairman is thoroughly entertained by the sudden, spicy, romantic drama unfolding. Sei stomps over to him, completely forgetting she is still broadcasting live to thousands. She demands to know if he has lost his mind, while he just looks utterly clueless, bless his heart. The two officers bicker off camera, leaving the viewers frantically guessing what is actually happening. Naturally, the chat immediately assumes the crush he is talking about is Sei herself. And just like that, a massive, life-altering misunderstanding is born. He genuinely has no idea why she is so angry about his simple, honest answer. Before Sei can strangle him, his emergency watch begins to blare a high-priority alert. Doryung gets ready to spring into action, completely ignoring Sei's furious, useless protests. He leaps straight off the skyscraper, leaving his streaming partner literally in the dust. To make matters worse, she realizes the roof exit is chained and padlocked from the inside. An officer finally arrives on the roof after receiving reports of a disturbance. He finds Sei curled up in a ball of pure, unadulterated despair, completely abandoned by her guest. Within minutes, the media catches wind of the live stream and goes into absolute overdrive. Wild headlines start popping up everywhere, definitively claiming the two officers are officially dating. The public reactions are a mix of heartbreak, jealousy, and sheer, utter shock. Fans of the handsome officer are absolutely devastated by this earth-shattering news. Back at Rosa's college, the students are gossiping non-stop about the massive dating scandal. They are convinced he has been keeping his relationship secret to protect his idol-like status. Some even express pity for him, pointing out he is a cop, not a celebrity heartthrob. When a student questions if it is just a fake rumor, her friend pulls out a definitive piece of evidence. It is the highly misleading photo taken by their colleague, now plastered on the official police social media account. Standing right nearby, Rosa stares blankly at the screen, her heart completely shattered into a million pieces. Woo-sub approaches his friend, instantly sensing the incredibly heavy, suffocating aura radiating from her. To cope with the pain, she drags Woo-sub to a local pub to drown her sorrows in the most dramatic fashion. She sits there crying absolute waterfalls, clutching her drink in pure, miserable despair. Woo-sub is not buying her excuses for a second, pointing out she has been sobbing for 2 straight hours. Her alcohol tolerance is shockingly low, and she is already completely, utterly wasted. When she tries to chug down another glass, Woo-sub desperately tries to intervene to no avail. But there is no stopping a heartbroken superpower user when she is on a mission to completely forget. She remembers his bright, kind smile and realizes she was completely, hopelessly out of her depth. She suddenly faceplants onto the table, completely motionless, utterly defeated. In her drunken stupor, her painful inner thoughts begin to spill out for all to hear. She reminds herself that someone as perfect, handsome, and heroic as Do Ryung is completely out of her league. He is loved by the entire nation, while she is hiding a dark, monstrous secret from the world. She thinks back to their intimate moments and curses herself for ever daring to hope for more. With fresh tears in her eyes, she mutters that there is absolutely no way he could ever love someone like her. Woo-sub asks if she is okay, but he already knows the devastating answer to that. Rosa slams her hand down in pure anguish, instantly shattering her heavy glass mug into 1,000 tiny pieces. Overwhelmed by self-loathing, she crawls straight under the table like a wounded gremlin. Just as Woo-sub is begging her to stand up, he hears familiar voices calling his name. He snaps upright, forcing a frantic smile to hide the literal supervillain hiding beneath his feet. His classmates walk over, playfully scolding him for claiming he was too busy to hang out. They ask why he is drinking all by himself in a corner, looking so distraught. Woo-sub points down to show them his friend, but his hand freezes in absolute, dawning terror. There is nothing under the table but empty space. She is completely, utterly gone. The classmates just laugh it off, thinking he is playing some weird, elaborate joke. Woo-sub sprints out of the bar, screaming her name at the top of his lungs, praying she's nearby. He panics, knowing that a drunk, heartbroken Rosa wandering the streets is an actual, imminent public safety hazard. And then the worst-case scenario hits him with the force of a truck. What if she used her teleportation? He literally starts crying tears of pure stress, praying to find her before she levels a city block. He scans the busy streets, desperately searching for any sign of her distinctive dark hair. And then his eyes lock onto a figure in an alleyway, a bad feeling rising in his gut. A random drunk guy is showing Rosa something on his phone, definitely trying to make a move on her. But she is not listening to him. Her eyes are glued to the live news broadcast on his screen, captivated. Woo-sub rushes in and grabs her arm, trying to drag her away before she does something truly crazy. But before he can pull her back, a massive spiral of wind erupts around them, deafening and sudden. The drunk guy is left pointing in absolute disbelief, as the two of them simply vanish into thin air. A passerby tells him to go home and sleep off the alcohol, entirely dismissing his frantic, unbelievable story. Meanwhile, the teleportation coordinates land them straight in the middle of a chaotic battle zone. Woo-sub hits the hard concrete, coughing from the smoke and completely disoriented, his head spinning. He looks up as he hears the loud, chaotic clamor of a terrified crowd nearby. Right above them, a massive clash is taking place in the night sky, explosions lighting it up. Do Ryung is currently fighting a special criminal who can create dozens of muscular, identical clones. Woo-sub spots Rosa stumbling forward with a terrifyingly dark, determined expression on her face. She walks right up to a parked heavy motorcycle and casually grabs it by the frame. Her eyes flash a menacing, glowing red as her heartbreak transforms into pure, unadulterated rage. With her monstrous physical strength, she hurls the entire motorcycle straight into the sky like a guided missile. Du Ryung can only watch in absolute stun as a literal vehicle flies directly past his face, inches away. The heavy machine direct hits the clone criminal, blasting him out of the air in a single, devastating strike. Du Ryung peers down through the smoke to see who could possibly possess that level of insane, raw power. He spots a familiar figure standing amidst the debris, his mind struggling to process what he is actually seeing. There stands a completely hammered Rosa, looking ready to demolish anyone who dares to touch her man.